Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to be doing the Rares and Mythics Avatar Limited Set Review. Fresh off of a nice top four in the team sealed for New York Invitational tournaments yesterday. That was fun. We played with Jason. Just to give another overview of our grading scale. So we use a very simple 1 through 10 scale, but 1 is the best grade we can give a card, and 10 is the worst grade we can give a card. Basically, this is supposed to correspond to where roughly you pick a card in the pack, usually kind of thinking of it through a pack 1 framework. So 1 is always a first pick, the bombiest bombs, just the best cards, and then 10 is the worst cards. You get them on the wheel and you might not even want them on the wheel, kind of thing. Without further ado, we'll just get into it. First up, we have Momo, Friendly Flyer. This is a single white for a legendary Lemur Bat ally. It's a 1/1 with flying. It says the first non-Lemur creature spell with flying you cast during each of your turns costs 1 less to cast. And whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So this is a very specific flying deck card because otherwise it's just kind of a 1/1 flyer ally. How good do we think that is? There's definitely a blue-white flyers theme in the set. Do we think we're playing Momo in just a random green-white deck with 4 or 5 flying creatures?
Yeah, no, that is the question, is how many times... First, I guess I want to evaluate this. If my deck had all flyers, how much do I like this card? Probably a lot, because it's a mana dork that also is an aggressive flyer. It's going to be hitting for 2 every turn, while also making your flyers cheaper. So I'd say at, say, 14, pretty happy. If I go down to 7, half my creatures are flyers. I'm probably still pretty happy. I'm imagining it's going to be netting me maybe 2 or 3 mana in a game and dealing 5 or 6 damage. It's not insane, but still getting a bit of a mana advantage is nice.
If this gives you 2 mana in a game, I think you're pretty happy that you put it in your deck and played it.
More specifically, if it gives you also, I think I want it to give me 2 mana and then also actually give me a big enough tempo swing of playing a 4-drop on 3 or something.
Well, yeah, that's what the 2 mana gets you.
Yeah.
I think this is overall going to be quite playable if you have more flyers significantly than the average limited deck. Because to be clear, most limited decks probably have 3 flyers, 4 flyers, nothing incredible like that. So you do want to have a certain density, I think, before you play this, unless you're an ally aggressive deck that has a couple of flyers and also some ally synergies. I would say basically you need minimum 7 or 8 cards that synergize with Momo, but if you do, it's probably going to be playable, and then when you start to get to 10, 12, 14, 15 cards, it starts to become actively good, but that's very hard to get to.
Yeah.
So I think I want to give Momo a 7. I think you won't play it in a good number of decks, but when you do end up playing it, it could be quite high impact.
I think I want to go more towards an 8 because I think that setup cost is just very high. And from what we saw in the comments on commons, the flyer space didn't seem particularly compelling. There's some definitely good rate commons, but it's not there's anything besides maybe Benevolent River Spirit, which I don't even know if this works with that card in terms of discount.
It doesn't, I think, because it's an additional cost or something. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but I'll have to get the rules on that. But yeah, no, this card, it just seems like a lot of work to make it work, and it's still going to, in decks where it's built around, be a 1-mana 1/1 off the top of your library some amount of the time.
Right. Obviously, the big downside with these cards is they're bad to top deck late if they're not a 1-drop that specifically has some sort of thing that grants it utility late. So I think 8 is totally reasonable. There will be some decks where you play this and it'll be quite good, but I think most of the time this is not a card that you're oh sweet, I got a rare. It's more the power level of an average to below average common.
Yeah, to start, I don't feel the need to prioritize it, but yeah, if I'm in the space and if I get one somewhat late pack 1, I might try to build around it because it is
definitely a build around for sure. I think 7 or 8, 7.5, 8 is good.
Cool. Next up, we have South Pole Voyager. This is 1 and a white for a 2/2 creature human scout ally. When this creature or another ally you control enters, you gain 1 life. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw a card.
So this is the kind of payoff that you really, really want to be in heavy ally space.
Yeah.
Because continuing to draw cards, that will draw you into more allies. You do need a very high density of them in your deck, but we've seen that like over half of the creatures in the set seem to be allies.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ally token making. I don't think getting a density of allies is particularly difficult. It's not trivial, but it's definitely something that you can do pretty consistently if you're in white.
And to be clear, you really do need to be able to have 2 enter in the same turn. So like obviously the Resolute Reinforcements variant that gives you allies, or just a bunch of cheap allies, I think is going to be really helpful with this.
Yeah.
I think this card in particular is exactly the card that makes you want to play the 1 mana 1/1 that sacks to give an ally indestructible.
Yeah.
Like it protects your thing. It's easy to double with. So those 2 are going to be a pairing for sure. I think this is going to be a very high upside card and a card you probably want to like first pick and try to build around. So I want to give it like a 2.5. I think you're going to usually pack 1 pick 1 it, but you know, it's not like one of the best rares unless I could see it being that, I guess, if the allies are just like extremely prevalent, but it does require some setup and some deck building. And
yeah, I'm like between 2.5. I think I'm leaning more towards a 2 because it has like common level support. Like there's the 4 mana 3/3 that makes a 1/1, and that card just seems like a pretty good rate for a card. And so like I don't know, it feels like there's a lot of support for this card, and it's a powerful, and if you have a lot of allies, like in game, it's pretty low setup. You just like play your allies and you draw cards, and then you play more allies. And yeah, so I'm
2.5.
Yeah,
Totally fair. Next up, Airbender Ascension. 1 and a white for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, airbend up to 1 target creature. Okay, so we've got like a bounce-ish spell. Whenever a creature you control enters, put a quest counter on this enchantment. Okay, so it's a little bit incentivizing you to like airbend your own creature for some value. And then the quest that you're kind of trying to achieve is at the beginning of your end step, if this enchantment has 4 or more quest counters on it, exile up to 1 target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Huh.
So this definitely is not worth it on its own as like a bounce spell.
Yeah.
Right?
No, one of the really big values we saw in airbending and some of the other cards was that you could do the instant speed, and so you could save your own creature at a tempo gain in exchange for bouncing your opponents at less of a tempo gain. And this
by tempo gain, you mean that like it's cheaper to replay?
Yeah, that's cheaper.
Because bouncing your own creature is not a tempo gain.
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm meant relative to a normal bounce effect. Like bouncing your own creature lets you redeploy easily while saving it from removal. In exchange for bouncing your opponent's creature, they get to redeploy more easily. This doesn't let you save your own creature in response to the interaction, which I think is a big downside on airbending.
Yeah, it also doesn't let you bounce their creature in combat after they used a trip or something. So you can't really like get a card out of the beginning of this unless, and this is the key to this card, you have ETB abilities.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That is clearly what this card is doing. I think especially in limited, you're really not using it to like tempo your opponent out. I think what you're doing is you're trying to say like, I'm just going to eventually get this online and get a ton of value out of it because I have like 5, 6, 8 creatures in my deck that once I'm blinking something basically for free every end step, I'm just getting consistent value over the course of a long game and can grind you out.
Yeah, and this is like an incredibly efficient way to do that. I feel like every other time we've seen an effect like this, it's been incredibly inefficient. Like costed 5 or 6 mana. And this, like, its condition is, I think, pretty easy to get, given that the cards you want to play with this are cards that have ETB make a token often.
And we've seen a couple of those already, like in white commons, so...
Yeah, commons and uncommons, very doable. And also just want to play creatures in your limited decks.
Yep.
And so I think, I would even consider playing this card if I had, say, like, a total of 4 ETBs if like 2 of them were like really high impact. Like I think this card, it's the floor is very, very low because if you don't have like if your only ETBs are like make a 1/1 or like gain a life, it's not going to do that much, and the time it being dead might make it not worth it. But like if you have like even just like a slight density of kind of effects plus a couple things that like actually are like kind of game breaking, this I think can become like actively excellent because it's just so cheap.
It blinks stuff that your opponent has enchanted with removal spells.
Yeah.
It gives your creatures vigilance. Those are kind of like the baseline things. And then anything on top of that, any enter the battlefield ability that gets you at least like half a card worth of value, this is just going to start stacking up value.
Yeah.
So I think this is basically a very high upside build around is how I would put it. I think you're probably putting it into most of your white decks just because they'll incidentally have enough stuff to make it pretty good.
Yep.
But I could see a white deck that doesn't run it, and to really maximize it, you need to build around it, but I think that is worth doing. This seems like a very powerful card to me. So I want to give this a 3. I think you want to pick it highly and probably go in the direction of maximizing it during your draft, but I don't think it's like inherently amazing on its own. You do need to do some work.
I agree. I like 3.
Cool.
Next up, we have Suki, Courageous Rescuer. It is 1 white for a 2/4 legendary creature, human warrior ally. Other creatures you control get +1/+0, and whenever another permanent you control leaves the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. So notably, this triggers off of tokens as well. That means like your ally token's dying, you're sacrificing clues, you're sacrificing foods, makes you allies. This card just seems like a lot of stats plus like a little bit of value for a very cheap cost. Like 3 mana 2/4 is not bad. 1 white is kind of hard to cast, but like white makes a bunch of tokens and giving them +1/+0 is I think a pretty big deal. I think white is trying to go pretty wide, and then this other ability like it's going to make combat trickier for your opponent because like they can't just like trade off with your creatures because you're gonna keep getting more 2/1/1s that are gonna be 2/1s while Suki's in play. And it can be a little bit of an engine with like clues and such. And this guy just seems like pretty efficient. It's not like I don't think it's like a home run bomb or anything, but it is like just like quite efficient and works quite nicely in white.
I think this is a home run bomb. This is exactly the kind of card that is a bomb in Modern Limited, which is just an incredibly efficient package of stats with ability to get value when your opponent tries to answer it or interact with it. Obviously, this can immediately get targeted by removal and it didn't get you anything besides like maybe a minorly good attack. But the fact that it costs only 3 mana means that you're never too unhappy about that exchange. And if it sticks around, your opponent can't get into combat with you. You're making 2/1s every time they kill one of your creatures. You're making a 2/1 every time you crack a clue. Not every time, obviously, once per turn, but you can do it once on your turn, once on their turn if you block. Like, I think this card just
on their turn too.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's during your turn.
Oh, during your turn.
No.
Never mind.
So
okay, once per turn cycle.
Yeah.
But I still just think that this card, like, we would pay 1 white for a Glorious Anthem that gives our team +1/+1, right? That's like a pretty good card in Limited.
1 white for Glorious Anthem, I don't think it's anymore.
Well, but it's certainly playable.
If it's on a creature, yes.
No, I think I would play Glorious Anthem in most Limited decks still. But regardless, it's like a competitive-ish rate. This is close to that. Like, you care much more about +1 power than +1 toughness, although obviously both are important. Like, I think this is just going to be an excellent card. I think it's probably going to not be like the top game in hand win rate card on 17 lands, but it'll be like in the top 10.
I think I don't think this is like a uber bomb, but I definitely think it's a top quality rare.
Yeah, I mean the main thing is just that it's an incredibly efficient package.
Yes,
like, you're not paying 5 mana for this, so you're never that unhappy when it like gets killed. You're mostly just unhappy because it's probably one of the best cards in your deck and they could answer it. But like, yeah, I want to give Suki a 1.5.
I agree.
Cool. Next, Aang's Iceberg. 2 and a white for an enchantment with flash. When it enters, exile up to one other target non-land permanent until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. So it's a flash banishing light, basically.
Love that.
And then we have Waterbend 3, sacrifice this enchantment. If you do, scry 2.
Huh.
So, obviously it's kind of flavorful for the show, but I think the main thing going on here is just it's a banishing light, and you have this like incidental upside that you're probably not going to use very much, but is nice to have. It's just nice to have the option. Um, I would not evaluate this much differently from a banishing light. I don't think.
I
Except
would.
having flash is really nice.
The thing about it is it can target your permanents. So it is both a very efficient interaction spell and a very inefficient save your own creature spell.
Right.
And that being on top of the very inefficient save your own creature on top of your just like really efficient interaction, I think it's not gonna like super change the card. You're going to banishing like 90%, 95% of the time. But having that option on top of really efficient spell, like optionality is just such a powerful thing to have in Magic. And I think that makes me like even a bit higher. I mean, I already am taking this card quite highly because it's so efficient at what it's doing. But I think having that extra option is important to know about. And like, save your creature, scry 2 for 6 mana is not something you want to do often, but it's like, if you have like a really important creature, it's nice.
It is an extra bit of optionality, and that does matter. Like, this card is significantly better than Banishing Light.
Yes.
I agree. But I would not say it's like categorically a different type of card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're putting this in your deck, it's a removal spell, it's a good removal spell, it'll do well for you, but it's not like a card that's meaningfully better than just a good removal spell. That's mainly what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it is nice to have that flexibility, but I would say you're probably going to save your own creature maybe 5% of the time with this.
Yeah, I mean,
which is just not that much upside.
I also think it's probably fair to say that 5% is generous, but
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I want to give this like a good grade, but not an amazing grade. I think I want to give it a like a 4, maybe a 3.5.
I think a 3.5. It's like I would have it around the same as the other like hyper efficient removal that we gave a 3.5.
Yeah.
Heartless Act.
All right. Before we move on to the next card, we're gonna take a little bit of a fun live pause. Do you want to know what cards got banned in Standard, Mora?
Sure. Let's check it out.
I just looked. It is Vivi,
Mm-hmm.
Profts,
Mm-hmm.
and Screaming Nemesis.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to spend too much time on this, but I just wanted to give the update because
that's wild.
I mean, I'm preparing for Worlds. We've been doing a lot of standard testing and trying to figure out what's going to be good, and we had thoughts on what we wanted to be banned. I'm not going to share them here, but we'll be talking about this after the set review.
I'm sure I'm not sharing any of my thoughts, but they're in my brain.
All right, back to the Rares and Mythics. Back to this hopefully banger of a limited set. Next up,
we have Hakoda, Selfless Commander. This is 3 and a white for a 3/5 legendary creature, human warrior ally with vigilance. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast ally spells from the top of your library. Sacrifice Hakoda, creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain indestructible until end of turn. This card seems
the stats are great.
Nice. Yeah, it's a 4 mana 3/5 vigilance, which is what I want for 4 mana. I'd say that is
hard to kill.
Yeah, hard to kill. I'd say like on to slightly above rate for 4 mana as a creature. And then so many creatures are allies. This is going to draw you maybe like half a card a turn.
Yeah, it's probably like maybe a quarter of your deck is going to be allies, like 10 of your creatures.
Yeah.
Like a pretty ally focused deck.
I could see you could sometimes even hit 15.
I'm sure you could, right? But I don't think that's realistic. Like,
there are a lot of allies in this set.
I know.
It's like kind of realistic.
Sure, but like there are some powerful non-ally creatures that you're just like going to want to put in your deck. So
no, you're correct.
Yeah.
You're correct.
But anyway, like this card, it's not going to draw you a card an incredibly high percentage of the time. But the nice thing is if it just sticks around on the battlefield, every turn your opponent is taking the risk of it drawing you a full card. And if it does that once, this is like bomb rare level rate. It's just really, really good. They kind of need to kill this right away. And it has this like super nice other ability of just basically letting your entire team survive through a combat. There's just so much text on this card.
It's a selfish spirit too. Yeah, or through a wrath if there's any of those that we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really powerful. And if you ever like get the chance to like chain 2 allies together in a turn, you're gonna feel unstoppable.
It is kind of funny that they're getting +0/+5 and indestructible. Like, what is the toughness doing? Not exactly clear. It's a
it's because there's at least one wrath in this format that cares about the toughness number, I think.
Oh, fair. Anyway, this card's amazing. It's really, really good. I want to give it a 1.5, 1. Where are we leaning?
I think 1.5. It seems to be like maybe in the same like general sphere as Suki.
Yeah,
In terms of, like,
it's very similar to
It's
that card.
it's hyper efficient in what it's doing, but it's not like instantly when you need the game. And I think the set might have a couple of those.
Yeah, that's totally fair. All right, 1.5 for Hakoda. Next up, Avatar's Wrath. 2 white white for a sorcery. Choose up to 1 target creature, then airbend all other creatures. And until your next turn, your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. And then you exile Avatar's Wrath.
Oh.
This is a really interesting one to evaluate for limited.
Yeah.
It seems very strong. Like, bounce all of your opponent's creatures would be quite good. And you're also bouncing your own, but you get this nice, like, they can't redeploy for a full turn cycle out of it.
You also get to keep one of your creatures.
Right. That's of course very
huge.
important.
Like it's like on the turn you play it, the effect is not that different from 4 mana Dune Blast.
Right. And even maybe the turn after, it's really not.
Yeah, because they can't redeploy those creatures for a whole turn.
The difference is that obviously once they get to redeploy those creatures, if you've kind of let the game drag on to that point, you're in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Because they get to have this huge efficient turn where they redeploy everything. But so I guess the way I would put it is, even though this is like there's a wrath in the name, I don't think the best way to think of this is a wrath.
I strongly agree.
I think this is a very, very effective tempo tool.
Yeah.
And it will be a way for aggressive decks or even like mid-range decks to just slam the door on games where they're ahead. And even if it is not a game where you're dramatically ahead, it gives you enough tempo to maybe claw back into the game. So I think this card is overall very strong, but I wouldn't think of it as like the same type of strength as an actual Wrath effect.
Yeah, notably like with Wrath, is you want to like you're rewarded for like lower creature count, not deploying creatures and like baiting your opponent to play more things. With Avatar's Wrath, like it's you get to redeploy your creatures incredibly quickly. And so, like, you're really rewarded for playing a bunch of creatures, maybe even creatures with ETBs, but even just, like, playing creatures and, like, being on board, maybe even, and especially if you have, like, one big creature that you can just slam in with, like, this card just rewards you for creating a lot of assertive board presence and leveraging that.
Yep. It's, like, significantly worse when you're behind. That's just because it's so great when you're ahead. I want to give this a 2.
Yeah, that works for me. I could see ending up lower on it if, like...
I agree.
I
could also see it ending up higher.
Yeah.
Like, this might just be an insane bomb, but I don't think I'm quite ready to kind of...
Yeah, I think 2 is a good middle ground to start it at.
Cool.
Next up, we have United Front. This is X white white for a sorcery. Create X 1/1 white ally creature tokens. Oh, this is a mythic rare too. Nice. Create X 1/1 white ally creature tokens, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
Well, I'm glad this is a mythic.
Yeah, so at X equals 1, it's a 3 mana 2/2, put a counter on each creature you control. That's pretty good. X equals 2, that's 2 2/2s, and that's already like quite nice. And then this is scales into the game until like once you get to like 3, 4, or 5, it's just like it becomes overpowering very, very quickly.
Yep.
And even at just white, it's a put a counter on each creature you control, and you can sometimes kill them with that.
Yeah, I mean this like basically at whatever cost, you're getting a very, very good rate. Like 3 mana, 2/2 that pumps your team. That's great. And then every mana you add just adds a 2/2 to it. That's amazing. Like I think 5 or 6 is kind of the sweet spot for this. And once you cast it for 5 or 6, your opponent 5 or 6 mana in total, not X equals 5 or 6. Your opponent is just gonna groan and be like, "Oh my god, I can never win this game." A lot of the time, this is a 1. This is the kind of card that we keep 1s for, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Like it definitely has like blind spots. Like if you're
flyers,
flyers plus being stuck on mana is a combination that will happen in a portion of games. Like,
but I would definitely describe this as a card that is good when you're behind.
Yeah,
and even better when you're ahead. So like,
oh yeah, no, when you're ahead, this card just
mostly everything you want out of a limited bomb.
Yeah, no, this is into 1.
Yep, 1 for United Front. Next up, Appa Steadfast Guardian, 2 white for a legendary Bison ally. We love Appa. 3/4 flash flying. And when it enters, airbend any number of other target non-land permanents you control. And then whenever you cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 white ally creature token.
This card does so much.
It does so much. I mean, baseline, it's a Restoration Angel that can ambush your opponent in blocks and just, like, eat a creature most of the time because the stats are really nice. So, like, even just that, very, very good card.
Yeah, like, sometimes I forget it has the create an ally ability on top of that, but it really, really does.
Yeah. And what's nice is that this gives you kind of a default reward for airbending your stuff that, like, you can. So you just get to 6 mana, and you want to play this and have no other way to use your mana, you can just kick it, basically, to make a 1/1 ally, assuming you have any other permanent in play. That's great. Yeah, this card is just really, really nice. I would probably also give this... Well, it might be like a 1.5 because it's not incredible when you're behind. You don't really want to be airbending your stuff if you're, like, behind on board. It's still a very good blocker in that case, but
Yeah,
it doesn't really, like, help you catch up dramatically. So I might give, like, a 1.5 for this. It's not everything you want in a bomb, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like it a bit more than some of the other 1.5s we had.
Yeah,
but
that's true. Maybe those should be 2s. This should be 1.5.
Yeah,
hard
I
to
think
say.
that's kind of where I'm leaning.
It's also kind of fair to just give it a 1. Like, you're gonna first
Yeah.
pick this almost every time you see it.
No, yeah, I think, yeah, I would agree. Next up, we have the Legend of Yang Cheng. So bear with me, this one's going to be a bit hard to parse through, but it's not that complicated of a card. It's 3 white for a enchantment saga. And do we have access to its backside, by the way?
Yeah, I'll be able to click on it and show you.
Okay, yeah. So the first chapter says, starting with you, each player chooses up to 1 permanent with mana value 3 or greater from among permanents your opponent's controls. Exile those permanents.
So
all that means, yeah. This is complicated, but all it means is that you are going to choose a permanent from among permanents your opponent's controls with mana value 3 or greater, and it's going to be exiled.
So you exile something on their side.
You exile something on their side without targeting it.
Yeah.
And then...
Now, it also technically is true, right, that they get to exile something on their side if it's bad for them, like if they want to get rid of it. So, minor thing to note there, but basically it's just a removal spell.
Yeah, 99% of the time, both players are going to choose the same thing, because they can only choose things on your opponent's side of the battlefield.
Well, it's also just true that they can choose 0. They don't even have to
choose. Oh, they can choose 0. Okay, that even better. Yeah, which is more or less the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the first mode, it is nice. It gets around the cards like Shore Up and like hexproof effects and indestructible effects, because like it doesn't target. But besides that, it's just really just a removal spell for a big thing. And then chapter 2, you may have target opponent draw 3 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. And then at chapter 3, it transforms. So we can see what it does on transform.
Yeah. Oh no, that doesn't work. There should be a way to see the flip side. Maybe it's a space bar. There we go.
Yeah. Alright, and then on the flip side, we have Avatar Yangcheng. It's a legendary creature avatar for 5 flying. When you cast your second spell each turn, airbend up to 1 other target non-land permanent. Alright, so this card is complicated. But let's break it down based on what it looks like when you cast it. So you play it, and you interact with the opponent's presumably best threat. So if they're like somewhat like, if they're not going wide, going tall, it's a pretty effective answer to whatever the big thing they're doing is. But if they are going wide, it's a little bit less effective, and it's not like hitting high impact 2-drops or anything. But I'd say, yeah, for 5 mana, that's pretty inefficient removal, but it can do something important. The second mode, both players draw 3 cards. You're getting this on the second turn it's in play, so you get to cast and deploy those cards first. So this is like, I'd say, a very slightly net beneficial effect.
Yeah. Anything that is an option is obviously like good. This is a pretty minor like benefit to you, I would say, although overall you probably will want to choose it most of the time.
Yeah,
it's really hard to say.
It depends also just on the composition of your deck and what kind of game you're trying to play. Like,
sometimes this will do nothing because you won't want to do it, but usually that means you're ahead a little bit, so like it's kind of all upside.
But there definitely will also be like decks where you're confident that your deck is like notably above average.
Yep.
Which is obviously that's gonna be, I'd say, like not all the time, because above average, but in those spots, like drawing 3 cards might just be much more valuable for you than your opponent.
And then the backside, like you get a creature at the end of this, which is a really nice creature. 4/5 flyer. And whenever you cast like your second spell, you get to do something tricky to the board. Like this card is definitely good, right? Like it's a little bit clunky removal spell, but will go after a strong thing on your opponent's side of the board with a pretty wide range of things it can go after. And then it has like a minor ability that might be good for you, might not be, but you get to choose. And then you get like a really, really nice creature. At the end of it, like a bomb level creature. So this card's nice. Good. I want to give it like a 2. I don't think it's quite elite bomb, but it's very strong and you're putting it in every single white deck.
I think 2.5 makes sense. Leaning towards 2.
Yeah. Cool. These, I should note actually, because we're going to probably run into more of these flip sagas that have creatures on the backside tend to overperform from how they read. So just noting that, like, I think these are ones to look out for. They're just very strong. All right, next we have Tiger Seal. We're into the blue cards. Single blue for a 3/3 cat seal with vigilance. Oh boy. Okay, what's the downside? Well, at the beginning of your upkeep, tap this creature. It's a pretty big downside. So how do we like get out of that, right? Whenever you draw your second card each turn, untap this creature. This is a really interesting one for limited.
I'm personally, my first instinct is I'm very much not a fan. Drawing your second card each turn, the ways to do that could be like clue tokens, there could be card draw spells. All these are like somewhat tempo negative and usually have some amount of setup. Like clue tokens, you usually need to cast another spell first to get a clue token, and that might take up all your mana, and then you lose your Tiger Seal for an entire turn cycle. And like card draw spells, this does help recoup tempo from them as a cheap proactive play.
This is sort of a creature that like phases out until you draw your second card, and then it's active for one turn, and then it phases out again. I don't think that's good enough, but there will, I think, be certain decks that have like 7 or 8 card draw spells that probably want this because it's just efficient enough. Like if you have like 7 or 8 card draw spells, a couple ways to make incidental clues. 1 mana for a 3/3 is a lot of stats, and this kind of helps you recoup the tempo negative parts. Like that's the role of this card, right? It's meant to help you kind of recoup the tempo you're spending on these card draw effects. And also, I guess just to note, like it can block the turn it comes down, so it does help you a little tiny bit to gain some defensive speed and some time to cast your card draw.
I guess I want to like have in my deck total like over 10 ways to draw a second card before I'm like, this can actually be an active supporting member of my deck.
I agree. Like to make it an actively good card that you're very excited about, I think you do want more than 10 ways to draw 2 cards. I do think that's possible though. I think there will be decks with that, and this card might be quite strong in those decks. But most of your blue decks, I think you are not putting this card in your deck.
Agreed.
It is just not playable in too many contexts. So I want to give this, I think, like an 8. And that's being quite generous because I think there are some contexts where it's actually like quite strong. But unless you're in those contexts, it's basically unplayable.
I'm more towards 8.5 or 9. I feel like those contexts, a lot of things have to go right. I'm not as optimistic about the card.
Yeah, fair enough. 8.5 collectively.
Alright, next up we have Waterbender Ascension. This is 1 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on this enchantment. Then if it has 4 or more quest counters on it, draw a card. And it has Waterbend 4 colorless. Target creature can't be blocked this turn.
This one is interesting. It's very slow and very, like, win more-ish. Like, connecting with your opponent 4 times is a pretty high bar. Although, I guess it says, so if you connect with, like, 2 creatures on the same turn, you'll get 2 counters, it looks like? Okay, that helps a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to do it over 4 turns.
Yeah, it does not kind of restrict itself to being active over 4 turn cycles. So that is really important.
And also, like, if you hit them with 5 creatures at once, you do draw a card.
Right, or even 4 creatures at once.
Oh, yeah. No, that's nice.
Yeah.
You only need to hit 3 times first. I thought it was 4 times first. That helps.
Yeah.
And
so basically, once you hit them 3 times, this is now on, and then after that, you'll draw a card every time.
And it's interesting we're seeing like some real rare payoffs for like the cheap flyer space.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the cards to put in that kind of deck. Obviously, the ability Waterbend 4 target creature can't be blocked. It's possible to activate that, but like you're not really tapping your creatures usually to activate that ability.
Yeah, maybe like your clue token.
Yeah, maybe you're tapping your creatures to get in your large creature at the end of the game and finish it off.
Yeah,
but like that's valuable. It's a thing, but
it's not something you're going to do a bunch proactively to put up charge counters on this.
Obviously, the joke is that this card helps enable itself, and that is like somewhat true.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is really an effective card at enabling itself. You need to enable it with your deck building.
Yeah.
The reward is there, but the downside is also quite large. This does nothing when you're behind. And so I don't think we can give it that high of a grade, even though the upside is also there.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be playing this card in a good amount of decks because the upside is really nice and it like can take over some games. But I would probably give it like a 6. And that's like pretty optimistic, I think. But I think blue will probably have the tools for it. And it does create some nice tension with like your opponent really doesn't want to attack you. It's a cheap card. It only costs 2. The ability is useful to like make things unblockable.
I think I'm more of a believer because I think you have enough ability taking this card early to build around it and like build a deck where it like feels nice. And I don't think it's like as specific as just building a deck with flyers. You have a bit more leeway in just like how your deck is structured and what it's trying to do. And so I'm like, I don't know, more towards like a 5 or maybe even a 4. I think it goes online fast enough and has enough flexibility as a cheap play that I'm hopeful with this card, and I think you can build around it and make it effective. You just really have to.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to say like 5.5.
Totally fair. And both of our grades are reflective of like at its best it can be much better than that, and at its worst you don't want to put it in your deck.
Yeah, they're definitely decks where you just are playing a bunch of creatures and like stalling out the board, and then you can't really connect, and this card's not going to. Unless you like get into a stall, and you can start connecting with it.
You need like a real board stall for this to be.
But if you're a deck that's at all trying to play from behind, this card is pretty abysmal.
Yeah. That being said, like it's powerful enough that you might put it in those decks and it will be like at least okay sometimes. So, I think the upside is definitely better than the downside on this card.
Yep.
Next, Spirit Water Revival. 1 blue for sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may Waterbend 6, which is a lot, but you can obviously tap your permanent, so if you put out a lot of rectangles, maybe that's achievable. And then what it says is you draw 2 cards. So baseline, we've got a 1 blue divination, okay. And then if this spell's additional cost was paid, instead, shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw 7 cards, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Did I read it correctly? Shuffle your graveyard, not your hand. So you're just drawing 7 new cards.
Yeah, and then
you get to keep the ones that are already in your hand.
So you can't loop 2 of them.
Yeah. This card seems... I'm putting it in every blue deck, basically, because Divination is not that bad of a card. And the upside is quite nice, although you're not going to use it that often. When you do, it's going to win you the game.
I think I disagree with you're not going to use it that often. I want to, like, heavy build around this card. And, like, I think just, like...
I'm talking in normal cases.
Yeah, I guess I feel like in blue, just like putting a bunch of rectangles into play, there's already so many incentives to do that, and I'm hopeful that this card might actually be like kind of excellent.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I think this is a very, very good card because like the baseline rate is just not that bad.
Yeah.
It's a really nice buyout to have on your expensive like
for sure
win the game card. I mean this card's great. Right, so like overall 9 for a cost, but if you can reduce it by like tapping 3 creatures, it's only costs 6 in a late game. That's pretty doable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to be really stable on board, but games do stall out, and if the game stalls out and you happen to have this in your hand, you're just like, oh, okay, I win. You don't win, I win.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
And that's like really, really good to have on your card that is just fine to put in your deck. So I like this card a lot. I think we should give it a very high grade. I want to give it a 2.5 is where I was at.
I'm between 2 and 1.5. I think 2 is my stick though.
All right, we'll give it a 2. We like this card a lot.
All right, next up we have the Mechanist Aerial Artisan. 2 and a blue for a 1/3 legendary creature, human artificer ally. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a clue token. And then it has tap until end of turn. Target artifact token you control becomes a 3/1 construct artifact creature with flying. So 3 mana 1/3 is pretty awful rate, but cast a non-creature, create a clue token. That's kind of an engine.
Yeah, and then it just gives you board presence out of your tokens for free.
So like if you have too many clues, like it converts it into...
Right, you just keep like threatening to block with them.
Yeah, it is instant speed, yeah.
Yeah, I think that this card is very good.
Nice. Yeah, I mean you need to have some number of non-creature spells, like enough non-creature spells you can proc it consistently. I don't think just having your like typical like 3, 4, or 5 is gonna be quite enough.
I mean, yeah, like I think most decks probably have like up to 8, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and
this is probably true.
This, like, I'm pretty happy if I make 1 clue with this card. Like, I'm not stoked, but like 1, and I'm like, okay, this was totally fine.
Yeah, I agree.
And then 2, you're like, oh, this is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this card's really nice. You do need to like support it a little bit. It's a little bit slow. The body's not great, but it doesn't block nothing.
I agree.
Yeah, this card's really nice. I don't think like bomb level, but I want to give this a 3. A 3.
I like 3, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Next, Tai Li Chi Blocker, 2 and a blue for a 2/1 with flash and prowess. When Tai Li enters, tap up to 1 target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Tai Li.
Dungeon Geists?
Dungeon Geists. It's basically the blue version of Fiend Hunter, you could argue.
Yeah, with flash.
With flash, which is nice. This card is great.
This card's like pretty efficient at what it does. Like, I mean, obviously 3 mana 2/1 prowess is pretty underrated as a body, but like dealing with your opponent's biggest creature and being able to do it at the beginning of combat on your opponent's turn when they are
worst case you've gotten it out of combat for like 1 attack step or 1 blocker step. So this card's nice. I don't think it's gonna like run away with the game most of the time. Your opponent can kill it if they really care about killing it most of the time.
Yeah, it is an X1, although prowess helps with that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm feeling basically like the same grade, like 3 for this. It's really good, but it's not like a bomb.
I think I agree. I think if it had a bit more stats to it, I would be a lot higher on it.
Yeah. Like Dungeon Geist 4 mana 3/3 flyer at that point in limited was just also a very good body. This is not quite that, so
yeah. I like 3. All right, next up we have Yue the Moon Spirit. This is 3 and a blue for a 3/3 flying vigilance legendary creature spirit ally. It has Waterbend 5 tap. You may cast a non-creature spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. So I don't think we've seen any non-creature spells so far in the format where this actually really discounts you, unless you're like paying 0 mana for the tap effect. And notably, you can do it at instant speed and like cast sorcerers at instant speed. So how I want to think about this card mostly is a 4 mana 3/3 flying vigilance, which I think is like a pretty good body.
I mean, we have that at common, right?
I guess with vigilance. So I guess maybe that must be that slightly higher on that card, thinking about all the 2/3 flyers. But it is a common rate body. So I agree with that. And so the question about the water bending is like, how does it look like to leverage that ability, and does it make the cards at all better? I do like that it gives you optionality on like your draw 3 spell and lets you actually like posture with like that and fork it with like interaction. Your opponent really can't see what you're doing with this because the amount of mana you can leave up is very variable. Waterbending at instant speed is just kind of nice in that you get to represent things very fluidly, pun intended. But that being said, this card does not put you up cards, and it is a common rate body, so it's going to be hard for me to rate it that much higher than a common rate body.
Yeah, I also just think the waterbending ability, like, it's really not getting you that much.
Yeah, that's what
efficiency.
I mean. Like, yeah, it's not getting you.
I would bet most games you never use it, and some games you use it, and you're like, that gave me an extremely minor benefit.
I think I'm a little bit higher on it than you are, but like not by much. I am not going to claim it's efficient ever. I just think it's like there are ways you can build this into your deck where it's like, yeah, it's kind of nice, but yeah, it's just not efficient.
I guess let me ask the question, right? What's better, this waterbend ability or the optionality to give something else vigilance or untap some kind of artifact or something instead? Because that's really how we're comparing this to the common 3 and Azorius hybrid 3/3 that when it attacks untaps an artifact or creature.
I mean, I think the ceiling on the waterbend ability is higher even with.
Well, objectively, that's just true. I agree, but like, what is overall better? I don't think it's extremely clear.
I think UA having vigilance makes me like it a bit more because it has part of what makes the catbird good.
Well, okay, but to be abundantly clear, the catbird is literally exactly a 4-mana 3/3 flying vigilance with upside.
It doesn't have vigilance defaults.
Correct.
Yeah.
However, it is literally exactly a 4-mana 3/3 flying vigilance with upside.
Yeah.
You get why that's true, right? Because like you can simply just choose to untap something else, but you could always choose to untap it.
No,
so
I see
like
what you mean,
I guess I would say I really don't see this card as very different from that card.
I would agree with that.
And especially like one of them has hybrid mana cost. You can play it in a white deck. Like
no, that's true.
I think I basically just want to give this a 7. I think it's just like average common.
Yeah,
level.
but for me, it was like I was between a 6.5 and 7, and trying to find. I was trying to see if there's a reason for it to be a 6.5.
Yeah.
Because I agree that it is around like a 7. It's maybe even in the 7.5 if we don't like this body.
Yeah, I think the body's like good enough though. But I'm pretty happy with it.
I would agree. I think a 7. It is definitely common rate.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will see this and see like a sweet rare with sweet abilities and be like, to be fair, this one is an ally. That doesn't matter.
Oh, that's matter. Yeah. And also, I do think there'll be decks where like the waterbending will come up regularly enough that it feels like kind of nice, but even then it's still going to be like common rate.
Yeah. Even best case, the waterbending ability is not blowing your opponent out unless you're like have a very particular situation where casting a sorcery spell at instant speed is good, but like it's just like minor upside. So
Yep.
All right, next, the Unagi of Kyoshi Island, 3 blue for a 5/5 legendary serpent with flash. So 5/5 with flash for 5 mana. Already nice. I like that a lot. It also has Ward Waterbend 4.
That's a big number.
It's a big ward. So you cast this, you try to ambush a blocker, they really can't likely kill it.
Yeah.
So they can't really respond to that effectively. And then it also has, whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards.
So you can also ambush a clue activation during main phase.
Ambush a clue activation. Yeah, this card is really nice. Like, it probably won't get you 2 cards very often, but what it also does is it turns off their ability to draw 2 cards in one turn. They can crack their clues on your turn, so it's like not really turning them off of a lot, but the body is there. You can sometimes get nice value out of it, and when you do, it'll be a complete blowout. You can ambush something that'll also be kind of a complete blowout. This card is excellent. I want to give it a 1.
This card to me is very similar to Appa, where it has
agree.
very high upside, but like sometimes you just won't draw 2 cards with it. It's not a reliable card advantage spell. That's just a 5-mana 5/5 flash. And Ward Waterbend 4, I would say is probably functionally about as difficult as like say like Ward 2 or maybe Ward 3.
Yeah.
Because like they can tap creatures, they can have artifacts for it, and so I don't think this card is like a slam dunk home run bomb. I think it's just like pretty. I mean, it is a pretty incredible card. That's why I think I want to give it a 1.5. Like I think I have it about the same as Appa. It has incredibly high upside and will just win you some games by itself, and will almost always like get you a 2-for-1. But I think it has a real floor, and its floor is not bomb.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think you're right. That's a 1.5, not a 1.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Wan Shi Tong Librarian. This is X blue for legendary creature bird spirit. It's a 1/1. It has Flash, Flying, and Vigilance. When one Tongue enters, put X+1/+1 counters on him, then draw half X cards rounded down. Whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on one Tongue and draw a card.
Ooh.
This card's nice. So at
Yeah.
4 mana, it's a Flash 3/3 draw a card. And at 6 mana, it's Flash 5/5 draw 2 cards. And like you just have a lot of flexibility here. And if your opponent ever searches their library, they feel terrible, especially if you get to ambush that.
And this card's nuts, right?
Yeah. No, this card is kind of crazy.
It's like a Flash Sarah Angel that draws you a card, minimum.
Yeah.
And usually does a lot better than that.
I would claim its floor is slightly higher than that.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, like you can pay 4 mana, make it a 3/3, draw a card, like
its floor also is like blue trade with an X1.
I mean, sure.
I'm just saying there's so much
right. There's so much
here.
optionality.
Like you have a
this card is like, and we're not even talking like it's not often that your opponent is gonna search because there's not that many cards that do that in limited. But if they do have cards like that in their hand, this basically blanks them. They're not gonna cast them into this.
Imagine you're playing against a green deck and you're on the play. You pass with blue up. Your opponent casts Rampant Growth.
Yeah, you probably cast this. It's a 2/2 that draws you a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
No,
this is a 1.
Yeah, this is easily a 1. This card is incredible.
It's just cracked in half. This one's gonna be interesting.
This one's so cool.
I have no idea where we're gonna land on this.
Oh, I think I know I'm gonna land on it, unfortunately, but it's really cool.
Secret of Bloodbending. Blue. So 4 blue. It says, you control target opponent during their next combat phase. But, as an additional cost to cast, you may waterbend 10.
Big number.
But, if you do, instead you control that player during their next turn. So.
This is a very So, how powerful do you think obviously, controlling your opponent during the next turn, incredibly powerful effect. It's kind of like a time stretch because you get their turn and then your turn again. But how powerful is controlling them during the next combat?
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the really big questions for how to evaluate this card. 4 mana, quad blue, so it's like really more like a 6 mana kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing Secret Bloodbending almost definitely mostly in mono blue, or if I have... I think I need like somewhere between like 12 to 14 blue sources.
Yeah, so like baseline, that already takes this card out of anything above like a 5, right? Yeah. Even if it won the game, it said blue, like win the game or whatever. It wouldn't be above like a 5, maybe, because it's just so hard to end up in a mono blue deck. Obviously, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So like, this card isn't amazing, but how good is it to control someone during their next combat phase?
I think it's highly variable how good that is.
Yeah.
Especially in a deck like blue, in like a heavy blue deck, because blue tends, and I think we see this in the set, tends to have bodies that are below rate relative to other colors.
Yeah. And although you are, somewhat incentivized to like create board stalls in blue in this set with waterbending, as you've been talking about a lot. So this does kind of let you, make your opponent attack into you and make really unfortunate trades for them, or like run some things into your best blockers and kind of give you a value engine, or not a value engine, but like enough value to win a grindy game.
Yeah, although your opponent does get a untap draw into main phase to plan around the fact that you cast this.
Yeah, they can tap their creatures that have tap abilities, etc. So
they could, if they have anything with waterbending, they just tap all of them.
Oh, that's true.
Which it's still true that like, if you're in a wide board stall, it means that creatures can't attack, and so even just their team being tapped, but especially them having to attack, probably loses the game on the spot.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
I think I know where I'm coming down on this. Sideboard card. Complete sideboard card.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in heavy blue and you run into a very, very grindy matchup, I mean, we should talk about the 14 cost. Like, I think that's doable when you get to a board stall, because you can tap your creatures and because you're very safe from them, like, killing you, obviously, because you're controlling them during their next turn. That's really nice.
It does suck that if you tap all your creatures, you can't just
That's what I was
eat
getting
as many
to.
of them.
Right, that's the issue.
Yeah.
So like, I do think you'll board this in sometimes, but I'm not even sure it's going to be incredibly good when you do. It'll be good and worth it maybe sometimes, but like, this card does stone nothing early in the game. It's only a really expensive like finisher card, and it doesn't always succeed at finishing the game, which is just a lot to ask for. So I don't think you should put this in your deck almost any time. I want to give it a 9.5 asterisk sweet asterisk sideboard in the grindy matchups.
Yeah, I kind of want to give it a 10 asterisk. Oh my god, I want to play this card so badly.
Yeah, that's fair. Something like that.
Yeah,
it's a good grade.
All right, next up, this is not a 10. We have the Legend of Kuruk. This is 2 blue for a saga. Much simpler than the white version of this. It's chapters 1 and 2, scry 2, then draw a card. Preordain. And then chapter 3, transform it.
Yep. And the backside is...
The backside is a 4/3 legendary creature avatar. Whenever you cast a spell, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token with this creature. This token can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures. So it can only engage in combat with spirits.
We've seen a couple more of these.
Yeah. And then it has exhaust, waterbend 20, take an extra turn after this one.
Whew.
So this card seems excellent.
It's just great.
It just scry 2, draw a card twice. Like obviously the first when you play it, you're paying 4 mana for a period, and that's kind of rough. But like, then you do it again, and then you get this body that like starts churning out value. There definitely are going to be games where this card's a bit too tempo negative, and you get run over because like it's the turn it flips is just a 4/3 and 1/1s that can't really block that well often. However, it is such a powerful card advantage tool, and there are also going to be games where like you make a bunch of 1/1s that can't block and they lose the game because you drew cards, and so you have gas to make your 1/1s that can't be blocked.
Yeah, and just like notably, right, a reasonably statted creature that can simply block their like medium to large creature is exactly what you want to get for 0 mana after you've cast your card draw spell.
Yes, agreed.
So this card, I think, again, this is sort of the theme with the creature sagas that flip over into creatures. It's really, really nice to get a little bit of value, and then the turn you flip it, you're able to like convert all that value into board presence.
Yeah.
And this card does that really effectively.
Agreed.
So I think this is just a very, very strong card. It obviously will have some games where you're too far behind on board and it doesn't really help you like survive, and so I don't think we can give it a 1, but
yeah,
I want to give it a 1.5 or a 2, something like that.
I think 1.5 is where I want to start.
Cool. Next, Obsessive Pursuit. 1 in a black for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and create a clue token. Okay. And then whenever you attack, put X+1/+1 counters on target attacking creature, where X is the number of permanents you've sacrificed this turn. If X is 3 or greater, that creature gains, and this is the big part of this card, lifelink until end of turn. Okay. So we've got like a really inefficient Phyrexian arena.
Yeah.
Right? Spending 2 on the card you draw every turn, but losing the life no matter what is rough.
Yeah, it is also like it's also kind of like a waterbending rampant growth, but not in the main colors of it. So it's not like
I see. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a synergy to be aware of. I don't think it's like a massively going to change my estimation.
And you are getting these clues every turn,
yeah.
Right? So it's not even a rampant growth. It's like continuing to give you cardboard.
Yeah, and I meant like each turn it is.
Yeah.
No, like getting a bunch of just like cardboard is kind of nice, and
that actually might be the best way to maximize this.
Yeah, especially for other ways to sacrifice them.
That's the other thing. So like this, it's really, really nice that this card gives you a goal to get to. That when you get to that goal, you like undo the thing that it's been threatening you with, which is this like continuous life loss.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think this card's actually probably going to be quite good.
Yeah, it's also like
guess.
Really nice with Jody.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
I feel like the more cards I see, like Jody seems like potentially just a powerful linchpin for a lot of like for like black synergy decks.
Agreed. I think this card, like, in a lot of formats, might not be incredible. It might just be, like, okay, high upside, low downside kind of thing. But I think in this format, there's, like, multiple spaces that can really utilize it well. Fire bending obviously works great. It works great with. Water bending it works great with. Sacrifice, which we know Black really cares about, works great with.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's also just giving you relevant combat stats. Like, I think this card is just very, very strong. It obviously will have games, as I've said about a lot of cards, where you, like, fall too far behind because you're losing a life every turn and you can't convert that into a big lifelink swing. But I don't know. I think this card, like, looks a little bit clunky and actually might not be. It actually might just be kind of incredible output.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think
also just costing 2. Like, you can get it started really early.
But the thing is, it's just it's so efficient to deploy.
I want to give this a 2. I think this is, like, very good. I could even see it being, like, one of the better rares in the set, but I'm not quite there.
Yeah, I kind of want to go more towards, like, 2.5 or 3 to start, because it is, like, pretty slow.
That's fair.
I am interested in it and could go higher on it. Like, I think the other thing is, like, because it's, like, has somewhat specific setup, like, it has a lot of different synergy paths, which is really nice for taking it early.
Yeah.
So I could just see it being, like, I think I'm going to start at 2.5, but, like,
fair.
I'm hopeful. It's 2.5 trending up.
Basically, I would say I would not be shocked if this, in the first week, is one of the top 5 game-in-hand win rate cards, and I also wouldn't be shocked if it only had, like, a slightly above the good commons win rate.
Yeah. Alright, next up we have My Scornful Striker. This is 1 in a black for a 2/2 legendary creature, human noble ally. She has first strike, and whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. So, this card does...
Symmetric. Very symmetric effect.
Kind of. I mean, you get deck building heads up.
Yes, which is
helps
obviously
a
important.
lot.
I just mean that, like, the effect itself, which is not something we normally do, like, truly is a danger to both players, and both of them have to be aware of it.
Yes.
But you get a 2/2 first strike, which is a pretty good combat, like, creature. It's an ally, which is nice. And black seems to be somewhat aggressive in this set.
Yeah.
I don't know, this card's not amazing, but in deck building you can kind of take advantage of it.
And it's
I think it's probably quite good on average.
Yeah, I think it's, like, pretty nice. Like, there are, like, 3-4 toughness creatures that is kind of, like, blanket. Like, we've seen a lot of 2/3s.
But if it's just sitting around and your opponent happens to be, like, a lessons deck or whatever, it's going to be really hard for them to
There can be some
claw
decks
back
that
into
just,
the
like,
game.
some decks
2
that
is
just,
a
like,
lot of life.
cannot beat this, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this will, like, randomly hose some decks pretty effectively. It's not a bad body. Obviously it affects you too, so you need to be careful, and, like, it will lose you some games when you're behind. As I've said about a lot of these cards.
I feel like it's, like, simultaneously an aggressive card and a sideboard card.
Yeah, but I think you're putting it in your deck almost every time, unless you just happen to be, like, a very spells heavy deck.
Yeah, I mean, or if you're, like, I don't know, I feel like you're, like, a slow control-y deck with, like, a good number of spells. Like,
I could see
you're gonna want it in your board. You wouldn't be sad with it in your board because you board it against the lessons deck that has even more spells than you.
Yeah. But even then, like, against an aggro deck, right? This is a very good blocker that they kind of have to get rid of if they want to progress on the, like, with their small creatures attacking.
Yeah. So
there is kind of that structural advantage it gets. I think this card's good. I don't think it's great. It's not, like, winning you games on its own bomb level, unless it sometimes randomly hoses your opponent, which will happen. I want to give it a 5.
I was going to give it a 6.
I was thinking about 6, but I think I moved up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm fine in that range. I don't
5.5.
I don't have an exact estimate on this card right now.
Yeah, tough to say.
Yeah.
Next, Day of Black Sun. X black for a sorcery. Each creature with mana value of X or less loses all abilities until end of turn. Destroy those creatures. So this is, like, a pretty straightforward Wrath, except it turns off, like, death triggers. It turns off indestructible. So
it's quite inefficient on curve.
A little bit. Yeah, like
you can't, like, they play their 4-drop, you can't untap and on 4 or 5 kill it with this.
Agreed. Right. But it is flexible.
Yes.
So you can engineer it so that, like, you end up with the better board afterwards.
For sure, yeah.
Which is nice. You do need to be on board pretty significantly for that to be true, but that kind of takes away the downside of many unconditional wraths that wipe the board no matter what, so they're bad if you're ahead.
Yeah.
I think this card's very strong. I don't think it's like one of the best bombs in the set, but it is a card that I'm putting into basically every black deck I have. I'm pretty sure.
It's a nice reward for being like more controlling.
Yeah.
But also a nice reward for just like playing cards with higher mana value, like you're saying.
So I think like a 3 is pretty fair for this. Very good, but not like bomb premium.
Yeah. I think I might go up to 2.5, but like in that range.
Yeah, that's fair.
Alright, next up we have Raven Eagle. It's 2 and a black for a 2/3 creature. Raven Eagle, no, just kidding. It's a bird assassin. It has flying. Whenever this creature enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled this way, create a clue token. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Dang.
Tireless Tracker, is that you?
What? I don't really think this compares to Tireless Tracker exactly.
I mean, it's a clue every turn.
Sure.
I've seen the comparison. And it's like it's not exactly the same, but it's like it's nice.
This is just like a lot of rate on a body.
Yeah.
Like you're getting incidental graveyard hate. You're getting clues. They're not full cards, but you know, they convert into cards pretty well.
And you're not always getting clues. You're getting them often, but not always.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically choose to get one most turns, I would say. Like, not if you play this on turn 3 and nothing's traded off yet. But like,
which is important.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, that is important. But the draining is really nice. I think that effect often goes underrated in Limited. This is just a card your opponent must kill, otherwise you're going to kind of get an insurmountable amount of value from it. But it's killable. It doesn't have this like immediate impact that guarantees you value before it gets killed if like you can't get a creature right away with it. So it's good. It's not the best of the best, but it's up there. It's like really, really strong. I'm very happy to put this in any limited deck. It's one of the best cards in any limited deck.
2?
So 2, yeah. Totally definition of a 2, I would say.
Yeah.
Next, Foggy Swamp Visions. 1 black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast the spell Waterbend X. And it says, exile X target creature cards from graveyards. For each creature card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of it. At the beginning of your next end step, sacrifice those tokens.
Oh, I think this card sucks.
It sucks. So I really like the flavor of this card because you're like waterbending up the spirits from the swamp and then they crash away and go away.
Yeah.
But this card doesn't do anything.
Yeah, no, in order to make this card good, you need haste creatures or ETBs, and they're not either of those that are powerful enough and enough density for it to be worth it to have a card that recurs all of them after you got them all into your graveyard.
Like, let's say you have 2 creature cards with ETBs that are worth a card in your graveyard, which is already, like,
that's
high setup cost, right? Okay, this is a 5 mana divination with waterbending, so you can tap stuff for it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's really bad. This card, unless there's like specific combos with it that we're not aware of, it's an F, it's a 10. You shouldn't put it in your limited deck.
Agreed. Next up we have Boiling Rock Rioter. This is 2 and a black for a 3/3 creature, human rogue ally. Firebending 1. Tap an untapped ally you control. Exile target card from a graveyard. Whenever this creature attacks, you may cast an ally spell from among cards you own exiled with it.
Okay. So this can tap itself the turn it comes in to exile like an ally from a graveyard, right?
Yeah.
So at minimum, kind of, if your opponent has, allies in their yard, which it will be somewhat common. It's kind of similar to the buzzard, but like a little bit more restrictive.
And you can also get from your own graveyard.
Right.
Which is exactly a big draw of the card, because you get to put allies in your deck, and a lot of them are happy to trade off.
Yeah. So this can like ETB and sort of draw you a card for the next turn when this attacks. If it gets killed, you didn't get anything, which is a downside for sure. But if this doesn't get killed, if you're a little bit ahead, you can keep pushing that advantage. This is going to close the door pretty quick.
This is another card that's like kind of really nice with... it's among cards you own exiled with this creature. So it is only your allies.
Interesting.
And also notably, you have to spend the right colors of mana on it as well.
That's
so true. You can't like Firebend for red cast the 1/1 keep your thing indestructible.
Okay, reading the card helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out. So this can really only like grave dig your own stuff, and it needs to do that when it attacks.
And you have to pay full cost.
You have to pay the full
colors.
cost. Yeah, so it's maybe not as good as I was thinking.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad. Like, how like it.
3 mana 3/3 firebending 1 is fine, completely fine. I would put that in basically every black deck.
Yeah, and it will draw you. It'll sometimes draw you a card or two.
And like if it draws you a card, you're very happy with it. You played
Yeah.
a card that was much higher rate than most limited cards. So this card's good, but I don't think incredible. I want to give it a 4.
Yeah, especially like 4 and a 5. I like 4.
Yeah.
I think it's like it is doing enough.
Cool.
Firebending is powerful.
Next up, Fire Nation Drill. The Fire Nation Drill. 2 black for a legendary vehicle. It's a 6/3. It has trample. When it enters, you may tap it. When you do, destroy target creature with power 4 or less. That's pretty sick. And then it has an ability 1, permanents your opponent's control, lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So you can pay 5 for it if you need to like destroy something with hexproof or indestructible. And then it has crew 2, which is like a pretty reasonable crew cost. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's doable.
I like this card.
I mean, this card's great. It's like a Necrotal vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, power 4 or less is somewhat restrictive.
But it still hits like a very wide range of creatures.
And it's on top of your like
that probably hits like 80 to 85% of creatures.
What makes me really into this card is it's that plus 6/3 trample vehicle. That's a lot of stats.
Yeah, this is just like a very nice card. It's not quite a Necrotal in that it's not a creature on its own, but it's pretty close. The stats are nice. I want to give it a 2.
Yeah, just noting the permanents you control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn is basically not factored into my estimation at all. It'll come up sometimes, but like
that is an option that you have that you will almost never use, but when you do, it'll be nice.
Remember, if you target a creature and they shore up, you can respond with the ability.
Yeah.
That matters, but
that is what the ability does.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what.
No, I'm saying it's like you can. It's not just for like your other interaction spells. It's like a kicker on this card as well if you need it to be.
No, totally. Yeah, you can spend 5 mana to kill something with hexproof, basically.
All right. Next up, we have Phoenix Fleet Airship. This card's sweet. I don't know if it's good, but it's sweet. 2 black for. There's a lot of vehicles too in black. It's a 2 black 4/4 vehicle. Has flying. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed a permanent this turn, create a token that's a copy of this vehicle. If you control 8 or more permanents named Phoenix Fleet Airship, this vehicle is an artifact creature, crew 1.
So, baseline, this is good.
Yeah.
It's a 4 mana 4/4 flying vehicle with crew 1. That's good.
It's not great, but it's good.
Yeah. And then if you sack something, you just get to copy it.
Yeah, like if you ever sack thing, like I feel like getting 8 of them is not trivial, but that's just sacking something 3 times.
Because notably, when you get 2, then they each copy themselves. So you get 4.
The first one gets you to 2, the second one gets you to 4, and the third one gets you to 8.
Exponential growth, baby.
Yeah, and so like once you hit 8, you win the game. Like they just kill your opponent. There's so many flyers. No, they can kill 1 and then you have to crew the rest, but then you go to 14.
Yeah.
This card I think is its general rate I would say is like if you're not sacrificing permanents I'd say about like at or below common replacement.
I would say at. Like 4/4 flyer is big.
Yeah,
and crew 1 is small.
This is true. This is very true. If you are sacrificing things at all, this card slowly ekes up closer and closer to being a bomb.
Yeah, and like, I'm extremely happy if I copy this once.
Yeah.
Like, I just have 2 4/4 flying vehicles. That's really good.
It kind of just like you can think about it like slowly turns your creatures into 4/4 flyers, which is like pretty nice.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it kind of turns 2 creatures into a 4/4 flyer.
I'm saying it like steadily is turning more and more of them if you sacrifice more things. But yeah.
So this card is extremely strong. I think it's like probably just a bomb.
Yeah, I think you But the thing about building around it is that building around it is putting cards that like make loot tokens into your deck, and that's not that high of a build around cost, but it is something like to be conscious of, like
Or just cards that sacrifice creatures and creatures that want to be sacrificed.
like Jody.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically you take this card slightly higher, which you probably were already doing because you took a double black card, and that's
I mean,
kind of
I would
good, but
extremely willingly first pick this card and build around it, and not even try that hard to build around it, and it would be great.
I agree.
So I want to give this a 2.
Yeah, works for me.
Next up, Ko, the Face Stealer. 4 black for a 6/6 legendary shapeshifter spirit. Notably, it can be blocked by those 1/1 spirit tokens. When it enters, exile up to 1 other target creature. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may exile it. You can pay 1 life to choose a creature card, exile with Ko.
Period.
End of the ability. That's very funny.
Yeah.
Obviously, why are you doing that? Because Ko has all activated and triggered abilities of the last chosen card. So this essentially kind of like copies the text box of cards that you exile. It doesn't obviously copy static abilities, doesn't copy like flying or whatever, but it like replicates what they were doing a little bit.
Yeah.
And baseline, it's a 6 mana 6/6 that ETBs and exiles something.
Yeah. Most of what I'm thinking about with this card is it's a 6 mana 6/6 Necrotal. That's quite nice.
Can we give it a 1? Do we think?
I want to give it a 1.5 at 6 mana.
Yeah, 6 is
like,
a lot.
6 is a lot of mana, and it is just like quote unquote just a 2-for-1.
Yep.
Just a very efficient. It's not efficient in 6 mana, but it's worth your 6 mana by a lot.
I think people might be surprised that we're not just snapping off a 1 on this, but like 6 drops in limited are just way worse because there are some games when you don't get to cast them, and even when you do get to cast them, like you know, they're still, they need to have a very high impact on the board to be like significantly above replacement level.
Yeah.
This one is, it totally is, but I don't think it's like an elite bomb. It's just a very, very good card.
Yeah.
So 1.5.
Yep. Next up, we have The Rise of Sozin. This is 4 black for a saga. Chapter 1, destroy all creatures. Oh.
So it's Wrath.
So it's a Wrath. A Wrath that's going to turn into a creature. I love this for us. Chapter 2, choose a card name. Search your opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with that name and exile them. Then that player shuffles. Chapter 3, transform it. And the flip side is a 5/5 legendary creature, human noble, named Firelord Sozin. Menace Firebending 3. When Firelord Sozin deals combat damage to a player, you may pay X. When you do, put any number of target creature cards with total mana value X or less from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
Okay. So if you cast your Wrath, ticked it up, exiled like, I don't know, the best card from their graveyard or some card that you're worried is in their deck.
You just like to name a card that like would matter. It's not Chapter 2 is not at all really influencing how much I play this card.
Yeah.
It's really Chapter 1 and transform.
Right. But then
it is nice to get the information too.
So okay, so you've cast your Wrath, you've ticked up and done something that basically doesn't matter, and then you flipped it, and then you've attacked with it, and then you've connected. Now you're getting like really nice value. That's all good. That's all very good. But it is like 3 or 4 turns, and a very like, they have plenty of windows to find and cast their removal to like kill your 5/5. Once they do, or like once you do, if they haven't done that, I'm explaining myself poorly here, but it's very good. Like it'll win the game for you, obviously.
Yeah,
it is a Wrath that ends up giving you a threat that will win the game if not answered.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think it's pretty excellent. It reminds me kind of like the card Magister of Worth, which like just was a 6-drop creature that wrathed all other creatures. Like, to me, the getting the advantage of like getting their graveyard is not something I'm expecting to do every time. It's more 6 mana wrath that leaves behind an efficient body that they have to answer is just like really compelling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Really, really compelling. I guess I'm saying like I probably want to give it a 1.5 instead of a 1.
I think I want to give it a 1 to start. I could end up going down to a 1.5 if it proves to be a bit awkward, but like I also do think like chapter 2 is not nothing. It lets you see their hand and also just like name whatever the best interaction is in their colors. And
That's
if you,
true. You
if
can
you
just
get a
name
card-
whatever removal
yeah.
spell, yeah.
if you get a card from their hand, they don't draw another card. It's templated the old way.
Yeah.
So like you sometimes like if you have the read, like sometimes you will get a card off of that.
That'll feel really sweet when you have the
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, and like you can also just like have that insurance. But yeah,
I think a 1 is totally fair for this. It's a very clear bomb. I guess I would just say like it's not clear to me that it's like one of the best cards in the set.
yeah,
it
that bar is
very well
high.
might be.
That bar is high. I
Yeah.
agree. Red.
Getting into red. First, we have Redirect Lightning. Single red for a lesson. As an additional cost to cast it, you either pay 5 life or pay 2. So it either costs 3 or 1 and 5 life. And you change the target of target spell or ability with a single target.
Huh.
That is a powerful card.
Yeah, it's somewhat narrow, but it is powerful.
I think the big thing here, right, is that like you get to leave up 1. And sure, 5 life is a lot. But if they're casting a removal spell on your creature, and you get to put it back and say, nope, you're not killing my best creature, I'm killing your best creature,
Yeah.
that is worth a 5-point life swing.
Oh yeah.
Easily. Now that's not always going to be able to be lined up super effectively. You might have to use this like on some other weird thing, like getting their pump spell in combat or whatever, but I think this card's just pretty nice. Like
Yeah.
the 1 mana mode being so easy to leave up, I think is a really important part of why this card is so good.
I would agree. Yeah.
But because it has that, I think this is just going to like be a blowout a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I want to give this a pretty high grade, even though it's situational and a little bit costly in terms of like 3 mana for this kind of effect is clunky to leave up. But if you're leaving up 1 mana, 5 life is a large cost. But I think you basically just try to leave this up throughout the entirety of the game, and you will find a spot to use it for very good value.
Yeah.
So I want to give it a 4.
I want to give it a 5. I think it is like still decently high setup cost, and if your opponent ever sees it, I mean, even if they see it coming, it's so efficient.
Right, there's not that much they can do.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know. It's I mean, taking it high. There are gonna be some games when it's just not going to have a target, and that's my main worry.
Mm-hmm.
But it is definitely quite powerful if you ever get a chance to fire it off. And
I mean, how many games does your opponent not cast a single spell that targets anything?
so like maybe like 5 to 10%,
Yeah,
which
is relevant. Like this will be dead in those games.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am also very interested in trying this card and playing with it, and expect to be impressed by it a lot. So like 4 is probably fair.
I think 5 is
Yeah.
5 is pretty reasonable. 5 or 6, like 5.
I'm happy to
5
start on 5.
Yeah.
Next up we have Zhao the Moonslayer. This is 1 and a red for a 2/2 menace legendary creature human soldier. Non-basic lands enter tapped. Then you have 7 colorless. Put a Conqueror counter on Zhao. As long as Zhao has a Conqueror counter on it, non-basic lands are mountains. So this is Blood Moon. It's turning off your opponent's non-basic lands specifically. This extra text I don't think matters very much. Non-basic lands in this format.
I would go significantly beyond doesn't matter very much. I would say it is irrelevant text for limited.
Yeah. The main thing to note is non-basic lands in this format. There's not that many, and they almost all enter tapped.
Yeah,
So
that is
doesn't do
constructed
anything.
text.
Yeah.
It is flavor text and loaded.
The Blood Moon is also going to come up almost none of the time unless your opponent like has a ton of these enter the battlefield tapped common lands, which will be some decks. And so like there will be I think there'll be over the course of the format non-zero chances where that comes up.
Yeah, you will pay 7 when you have 7 mana that you're doing absolutely nothing else with.
It is a big number.
To do that sometimes.
All
Like,
this-
it will not be never activated, but like it's not relevant
All
to
this is-
evaluating the card.
All I'm trying to get at though is this is a 2-mana 2/2 menace. I don't think anything else matters for evaluating it.
Yeah, which is like decent common.
I'd say like pretty decent to like pretty good common rate. I would give it like a 6.5.
6.5. Love it. All of this is to say, this is almost exactly a 2-mana 2/2 menace. You should not evaluate it any differently from that.
Yeah.
Basically. It's a symmetrical effect. It'll affect you too. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Firebender Ascension. 1 in a red for an enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/2 red soldier creature token with Firebending 1.
Oh.
Okay, so baseline, this is just like a creature that we kind of like.
Yeah, no, I actively quite like that creature.
Yeah, 2 mana, 2/2 Firebending 1 is just sort of nice. I mean, we've seen commons that are better than that, or maybe uncommons, but like that's
Uncommons,
pretty
yeah.
good. That's a card we like. So what is the quest that we're doing? Whenever a creature you control attacking causes a triggered ability of that creature to trigger.
So like firebending.
It's firebending or like some other attack
Yeah.
abilities. Put a quest counter on this enchantment. Then if it has 4 or more quest counters on it, you may copy that ability. You can choose new targets for the copy. Okay. So that's like pretty situational.
Hard to
upside.
abuse, but like on a 2 mana 2/2 firebending 1, like sure.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I don't feel the need to build around this card much. I just want to put firebending cards in my deck, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah.
And like it will then eventually like generate more mana most of the time, and maybe do some other things.
Like you will eventually get to the 4 counters, and then it
Yeah.
is just gonna give you a ton of mana if you have firebenders out.
Yeah, this card just seems excellent.
Yeah, it's just really, really nice. I don't think it's like bomb level though. I think it's just good.
I agree.
Great
I'm
card.
thinking like 3 or 4.
I think 4 is fair. Like most
Yeah.
of the time, the most impact this is gonna have on the game is it's a 2 mana 2/2 with firebending.
No, that's fair.
Like,
yeah,
You know, that's not amazing.
I think 4 is reasonable.
Yeah, I like 4.
I could even go down to like a 5.
I could. Yeah, I think 4.5 is probably fair.
Sure. Alright, next up we have Firebending Student. This is 1 in a red. Creature Human Monk. It is a 1/2 with prowess. And Firebending X, where X is this creature's power. I don't love this card.
I don't hate this card.
I agree with that statement as well.
So 2 mana 1/3 with prowess is like on rate but slightly bad, I would say. In
Yeah.
this set though, red kind of is trying to exist a lot in that space. This is obviously a little bit worse than that in terms of the body, but firebending like 1 or 2 is really useful.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of ways for red to take advantage of this kind of thing. I think this card is going to be like pretty good when you put it in your aggressive red decks that care about firebending. I think I'm happy to put it in those decks, but I don't want to go above like slightly better than average common level.
Yeah.
So I want to give this
6?
6.5, meaning it's like probably a 6 or even a 5.5 in your like really tuned firebending decks,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like an 8 outside of that.
Works for me, yeah.
Cool. Next up, the Last Agni Kai. 1 in a red for an instant. Target creature you control fights target creature an opponent controls. If the creature an opponent controls is dealt excess damage this way, add that much red. Until end of turn, you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end.
Huh?
So
It's baseline instant speed prey upon.
Yeah.
Which we've seen before and is very much like at best common rate. Like I think this is probably slightly below replacement, especially in red, which I think often has like lower toughness and it struggles fighting.
yeah,
Like this might be a red green card.
this
Like,
might give you
I
a
think
little
it might
bit
be
of
a
mana
gold card.
back, so
Yeah.
it might end up being like almost free. But the more mana it's giving you, the like less important the creature you killed was,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. I think this is probably just a card that you shouldn't put in almost any deck.
Yeah, I think it might just be a red green gold card, and even then, not a great one.
Well, like I think that is the thing going on with it, is that you need
Yeah.
big creatures. But I don't even think that when you have big creatures, it's that good.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm not that excited about it even then.
Yeah, I think I want to give this a 9, maybe even like a 9.5.
I think I mean it is still interaction, and that
Uh-huh.
matters. Like I think we didn't see like that much effective interaction over the course of commons and uncommons. And
We
so,
did
like,
see notably like a lot of good red burn spells, and all of
That's
those are
true.
distinctly better.
that's very true. That's very true. I think I'm happy starting out at a 9. Like I like the fact that it targets a creature and can kill it sometimes.
Sure.
Like there'll be decks where it's like fine, but
There'll be decks with a lot of firebending and prowess that you like might
Yeah.
put this in, but it's really tough to make good. Even when it's good, it's not that good, and when it's bad, it's
yeah.
really bad.
So I want to start at a 9. I think 9.5 is reasonable.
I think a 9 is fair.
Alright, next up we have Wartime Protesters. This is 3 in a red. For a 4/4 haste, it's a human rebel ally. Whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+1 card on that creature and it gains haste until end of turn. Ooh, my god.
4 mana, 4/4 haste unlimited is just really, really
That
good
is
stats.
quite efficient. And then also, you get the unicorn text of putting not only counter on every ally you play, but also giving it haste.
This card is a bomb.
This card is a bomb, yeah.
This is like a 1, I think.
I might still give it a 1.5 because it has like non-zero build around, but like maybe it's just a 1.
Well,
it's so
I don't know.
fast.
Like you have 30% of your creatures as allies, and this still just like is great.
Yeah, I mean
It gives one of your allies +1/+1 in haste. That's just awesome. It's already a great body that connects her for the turn you play.
No, it's incredible, but also sometimes there's just attacks and trades.
Yeah,
Like,
but not on turn 4
it's
usually.
I guess for me the bar of a 1 is just very, very high.
Yeah.
And the cards like this card will win you a lot of games, but it will not like swing a game that you're pretty behind in.
I think this is more similar to Nova Hellkite than it is to like other cards that are like not quite that level of bomb. I think Nova Hellkite was one of the best cards in EOE. I think this is probably one of the best cards in Avatar.
Yeah, I
so
think
many of the creatures are allies.
I think I ended EOE at like a 1.25 on Nova Hellkite.
Right. I think this is basically there.
Yeah, so I think it's
1.5 I think is fair, but like I might just give it a 1.
I think
personally.
Fair enough. I think I'm gonna end up at 1.5 just on where my play patterns with these kind of effects, but I do think this card is phenomenal and 1 is fair.
Yep. Next up, Ran and Shaw. 3 red for a 4/4 legendary dragon with flying and firebending 2. When Ran and Shaw enter, if you cast them and there are 3 or more dragon and or lesson cards in your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of Ran and Shaw except it's not legendary. And it has 3 in a red, dragons you control get +2/+0 until end of turn.
Oh my goodness. Flying plus firebending is not something we've seen. And that is like nice. It's also a big flyer.
So I think the thing about this is that it's like on rate, not incredible, but still quite good body for 5 mana. But if you enable the lesson, holy shit.
Yeah. And like
and that's doable again in this format. You can get 3 lessons into your yard. It's not that hard.
Yeah, there are a lot of lessons that you're just like interested in playing.
So 5 mana make 2 4/4 dragons that can pump like themselves for 4 mana.
And also when you attack with 2 of them, generate the 4 mana immediately.
Right. So they're basically
you're attacking for 12 next turn
dragons.
minimum. You're attacking for 16 next turn minimum.
Like
you pump twice.
if I pack 1 pick 1 this card, I'm pack 2 pick 1ing the like 1 in a hybrid is it tormenting voice like pretty highly, and I'm just going all in.
Yeah.
Like this card is nuts if you enable it and completely fine if you don't.
Yep.
I want to give this a 1.5 because I think you do have to do a good amount of work to enable it. But if you do, you have an A+ level bomb.
I agree.
Cool. 1.5.
Next up, we have Faded Firepower. This is X red for an enchantment with flash and enters with X fire counters on it. And if a source you control will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus the amount of damage equals the number of fire counters on this enchantment instead. So a better way to think about this card is it's X red. Creatures you control get +X+0.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. There's like obviously a amount of lightning strike too, but like burn. But for the most part, it's pumping your creatures.
I think that's pretty good.
Also notably, as triple cost cards go, this has flash, so you can the gimmick is you're firebending it, which means that it really is like I would say about the same cost. If you're a heavy firebending deck, it's like about the same cost as like a single red card or a double red card.
Like let's just say you have your common red 1-drop that has firebending 2 enabled because you got a lesson to your yard, right? And it's like turn 4, you've played that and 1 other creature and a lesson, right? Okay, I'm like, let's say you don't even hit your 4th land drop, right? So you have 3 lands, a firebending 2 creature, 1 of your lands is red, you attack with your 2 creatures, and you just get to cast this for X equals 2. So you're just giving your whole team +2/+0 for the rest of the game. Your 1-drop is now a 3/2. Your 2-drop is now like a 4/2 or something.
Yeah.
They probably have profitable trades or like at least completely fair trades in combat, and you just double pumped your team for the rest of the game.
And that's like the floor.
That's I would not call that the floor.
Yeah,
I would not call 1-drop with firebending into 2-drop into lessen the floor.
Yeah. No,
but
it's a little bit lower than that, but
that is like the floor is that you're behind in this card really sucks.
yeah. No, that's
To
true.
be fair.
Yeah, you're correct.
But it's so good at pushing advantage when you're ahead or even really like at parity. I think this card's just excellent. I want to give it like a 3.
Yeah,
And that's pretty that's like being really generous for a card that is really bad or pretty bad, like pretty significantly bad when you're behind. But the upside is just so good.
And sometimes when you're behind, it might be because your creatures aren't matching up to your opponent, and this lets you just trade up a lot.
Well, it does let you do that for like 6 mana or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend a ton of mana on a thing that lets my small creatures trade up when I'm already behind. You know,
Yeah.
it is objectively interested when you're behind.
Oh, I agree.
In almost every situation. But
Yeah.
it doesn't do nothing, I guess, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah, I think I'm not super interested in this card if I'm not firebending a lot.
It's so much better with firebending.
But if I am, then yeah. So I think for me, it's like around more close to like a 4 or a 5.
Yeah. And I guess we should just describe the upside to the scenario too, right? Which is like, let's say you've gotten to kind of a board stall where both players have like reasonable boards and attacks aren't super easy on either side. You have like 2 creatures with firebending 2 each or something.
Yeah.
And you've gotten to like 6 mana, right? Okay. Let's say you have 1 more creature on your board than they do. You attack with everything. You cast this for X equals 7.
Or even just 6.
Well, I'm saying you have firebending 4. So
Yeah,
you cast it for X equals 7, right? Or no, sorry. No, yeah, that's right. X equals 7.
Right, yeah.
All your creatures get +7/+0, and your 1 creature that gets through hits them for minimum 8 damage, and everything else trades or you win the combat.
Yeah.
That's just absurd, and that is the kind of upside that this card gets you.
Yeah, no, if you can pump a lot of mana to it, it's just like your creatures are insane.
Yeah. Like, they can never let a creature hit them again.
And yeah, and it has flash to get that attack in.
Yep. Firebending really helps you just kind of put the ceiling of this card through the roof.
Yep.
So I want to give this a 3, but like it's gonna have spots where it's absolutely insanely good and wins you games no other card would have won you, and it's gonna have games where it's really awkward and sitting in your hand. But like overall, that ends up netting out to like a very good card.
Yeah.
Just not like a bomb.
I might give it a 4. I think the ceiling is high enough. I'd give it a 3. But like yeah, 3 is comfy.
Yeah, it's a hard card to evaluate. I think many people will feel like this is one of the best cards in the set when it kills them, but I think you need to remember that like there will be games where it's quite bad.
Yeah, it's high deck building cost too, but not like that high.
Yep. All right, next up, The Legend of Roku. Like Roku City on the TV. Anyway, for the first ability, it's a saga, one of those creature flip sagas. You exile the top 3 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. So it's like the red impulsive draw 3. That's very strong. The next, what are they called? Chapters? Yeah, the next chapter is add 1 mana of any color. So that'll help you cast the cards that you just exiled. That's nice. And then on the third one, you flip it and it becomes Avatar Roku. It is a legendary avatar. It's a 4/4 with Firebending 4. And it has 8, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying and firebending 4.
Oh my god.
So, you basically, the turn after you flip this, when you're attacking with it, you get to make a 4/4 with firebending 4. And then, obviously, if it continues staying around and you can attack with your creatures, you're just pumping out dragons and you win the game.
Yeah, but like that means that Avatar who didn't just die in that combat.
Right, which like it's if they can block it with enough creatures to kill it, they will do that.
Yeah, and so immediate impact is 2 red. You get a draw 3 for a turn cycle. So you can't. And it's gonna be hard to cast those cards the turn you play it, besides maybe playing a land. But it's easier the turn after. I think that effect for 4 mana is like maybe slightly below rate, but like kind of nice. And then it turns into a threat that they have to answer, or they lose the game.
I would say this card is very similar to the blue one, but slightly better.
I would agree. Yeah.
We gave that one like a 2, I think, right? 1.5,
Yeah.
something like that. I think this is like a 1 or a 1.5.
I
Probably a 1.5.
I think a 1.5. Yeah. It's like slow. The floor is that it's slow, and the ceiling is that it's like in must answer threat. So I think 1.5 is comfy.
Yeah, really, really good card.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sozin's Comet. This is 3 red for a sorcery. It has Foretell for 2 and a red. So during your turn, you can pay 2 colorless and exile it from your hand face down, and then you can cast it later for its Foretell cost. Fun. Just noting, if your opponent ever foretells a card in this limited format, it is Sozin's Comet.
It is
there
exactly
no other
Sozin's
form.
Comet.
It has to be face down. It is Sozin's Comet.
Which is really funny.
And then each creature, the effect of the sorcery is each creature you control gains Firebending 5 until end of turn. So whenever it attacks, add red. So this card, to me, baseline reads as pretty awful. However, there are, because like it's not providing you board presence, it's not providing you like card advantage. There are, though, a lot of rewards for firebending in this format.
But for what, single turn? Like, what are you... I think for this card, like, you need to have multiple creatures that can attack.
Yes.
You need to have a payoff that you could put X mana into for your firebending. And you need that payoff to win the game.
Yeah.
And even then... You're putting a card that is blank in your deck unless you're in exactly that scenario.
Yeah. The reason why I'm like vaguely interested in is that there are a lot of creatures that can attack that also have abilities you can pump mana into. But
is it like an unlimited amount of mana?
Yeah.
Really? Like what are you thinking of?
I mean, the thing I was getting to is those are all pretty inefficient abilities. You have like Sun Crowned Warriors, which is like 5 mana, make a 1/1 ally. You have Zuko, which is 5 mana, exile the top card, you can play it this turn. There are a couple of things like that. I think there's like Katara, 6 mana, draw a card.
Uh-huh.
There are a couple of like very inefficient things to do with it. You have like, and so like.
So we're putting this in our deck to do those inefficient things when we have multiple creatures that can attack, and we've already spent 5 mana, obviously with installment costs.
This is me. Like feeling out the ceiling of the card because my initial instinct is I want to never take it, and I'm deciding if it's a 9.5 or a 10. I'm still leaning towards 10.
Yeah,
but
I think it's just
I
think this is a trap.
I think it's a trap. I think you want your firebending to be on creatures that are doing other things and not on a sorcery.
I think this is basically, I would say this is like a 10 that you're allowed to try to have fun with.
Yeah,
is what I would say.
I think that's what I was getting at. And I
yeah,
like I would not.
It will have spots where it's like, oh my god, I did something really cool with this, and it actually like helped me win a game. Wonderful. It's almost never correct to put in your deck if you're maximizing your win rate.
Yes.
But yeah, go ahead and have fun with it. Get the screenshot. Like awesome.
Yep.
That'll be a cool challenge.
Yeah.
10 for Sozin's Comet. Alright, next up we have Earthen Ally. This is single green for an 0/2 human soldier ally, but it gets +1/+0 for each color among allies you control. So really baseline it's a 1/2 and probably a 2/2 if you have an ally of some other color, likely white I would assume given where ally synergies are in this set, but there are a lot of allies. And then it also has 2 and Wooburg for Earthbend 5. So that's like a stretch goal, I would say.
I would agree.
You're probably not putting this in your deck for that, although some decks might have incidental ways to get it. But baseline, this is like a 1 mana 1/2 to 3/2
with text ally.
With text ally, which is like pretty good. I think it's gonna be hard to make this a 3/2.
Yeah, hybrid really helps, but
yeah, hybrid does help. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think
I think the
probably putting it in decks that have a good density of allies.
Yeah, no, I want to play this card if I care a lot about allies. I think the activated ability is like kind of incredibly fake in part because of that. Because in order to hit those 5 colors, like it's pretty high deck building cost. Like I don't want to put this card in the same deck as the Harrow. which if I'm playing like 5 colors is a card I'm interested in.
Right.
Like,
You could have like the Shimmering Grotto that kind of helps, but that
Yeah, but
card's
I don't
great.
love that, and I don't want to like put 2 of those in my deck ever.
Yeah.
Like this card reads as like very like assertive like ally body for a deck that wants a lot of cheap allies, and the ability is very much like also it's like not that great of an ability. 7 mana, Earthbend 5, like yeah, that will take over like a really long game, but it's just Earthbending. It's not like drawing you cards, gaining you life. It's just generating 5 counters of advantage, which is like powerful, but like for 7 mana. Like, it's nice it's on my 1-drop, but it's, like, not something I would spend 7 mana on normally, so it's not a reason to play this card. I want to play this card in a deck where I'm playing a lot of, like, white allies, and it's going to be a 2-2.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is, like, the main upside of this is you got a 1-mana 2-2.
Yeah, which
is
is
that
like,
really that good? Is it worth taking on the downside of a 1-mana 1-2?
If I care about allies, I would claim yes, otherwise no.
Yeah, so I think, at best, this card is probably, like, 6, and I want to give it a 7.
I want to give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
I think it's like it being a 1-2 is kind of like really rough.
Yeah. Agreed.
And it's
right.
yeah, it's not
7.5
yeah.
is totally fair.
Could
even be an 8.
Yeah, not that much difference between a 1-drop and a 2-drop, and limited a lot of the time.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We have Great Divide Guide. This is 1 and a green for a creature human scout ally. It's a 2/3. Each land and ally you control has tap at 1 mana of any color. Ooh, I love this card.
That's nice. I mean, 2 mana 2/3. Like the problem with this ability is that if you're spending like a full card on it, then it's often not worth it because you can't like use it for enough value that like recoups your card. But this is just a 2 mana 2/3.
Yeah.
And it's a mana dork on its own. We saw that at like the blue-green card that tapped for 2 for lessons at common, and that card we really, really liked.
Uncommon, but yeah.
Sorry, uncommons. Yeah, that's what I meant. This is basically that. I mean, it doesn't tap for 2 for lessons, but it gives other creatures the ability to tap for mana. This card's really nice.
No, this card provides you a lot of mana, and on baseline, it's a 2 mana 2/3 that taps for 1 mana of any color. So it is just a mana dork on its own, and like. To be clear, don't fall into the Chromatic Lantern trap. Don't put a bunch of random splash cards in just because all your lands tap for any color while this is in play. But it does, like, it is a source for your fixing and is just, like, a very efficient mana dork on top of just giving you incredibly high mana advantages with any of the more allies you have.
Yeah, like, you can easily in a board stall just have 10 mana if you have this card out. Which can be useful for your waterbending things. It can be... Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter for waterbending.
It does not matter for waterbending, yeah.
But it can be useful for, like, whatever expensive activated abilities you have, or X-spells, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This card's great. I don't think it's a bomb, but, like...
It's just very efficient.
I want to give it a...
Like 2.5?
I was going to say 3 or 4.
I think that's probably more fair. It is, like...
It's not really that much better than the blue-green common, I would say.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I think, like... I'd say maybe like a 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 I think is good. Next up, Earthbender Ascension. 2 and a green for an enchantment. When it enters, Earthbend 2, then search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle.
So that's like a pretty nice rate creature.
I mean, that's a really good rate creature, right? Like
it's like Borderland Ranger. Borderland Ranger will put the land into play, which is whew.
Yeah, I mean, you also obviously the nuance is you're earthbending, so you need to use the land as the creature or whatever.
Yeah.
But then this also has landfall. When a land you control enters, put a quest counter on this enchantment. When you do, if it has 4 or more quest counters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains trample until end of turn, which is also really nice.
Yeah, so it
enables itself to start, so you only need really to put 2 lands into play after you play this until it's online.
Yeah.
And that's nice. Like, you can continue building up this really big creature over time. Trample is a huge ability to have access to when you're building these huge creatures. I like this card a lot. I think it's like kind of a bomb.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
I mean, it's like a little bit an Innkeeper's talent that also is a rampant growth that also is a Borderland Ranger.
I mean, yeah, the concern, the thing to think about is like when you draw this card like really late, it's quote unquote just like a 2/2 and a land.
Yeah.
And so then like it's not always going to be doing like the Innkeeper's talent thing.
I agree.
But it is like that's still like a good enough floor. Like you're getting some more mana development and you're getting a body.
Yeah, I basically think that if you cast this on turn 3, your opponent is going to be like, oh my god, that is one of the best things in the format you could have possibly done on that turn.
Yep.
So I think this card is really, really excellent. I think this is probably up there with some of the best cards in the set. I want to give it either a 1 or a 1.5, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm going to start at 1.5, but I can see it just being a 1.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have Avatar Destiny. This is 2 green for an enchantment aura, enchant creature you control. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, and creature card in your graveyard, and is an avatar addition to its other types. When an enchanted creature dies, mill cards equal to its power. Return this card to its owner's hand, and up to one target creature card milled this way to the battlefield under your control. Alright, so you're growing your creature based on creature cards in your graveyard. Don't love that on an aura, but however, if the creature dies, you mill a bunch of cards,
and then you
get a creature from from among the milled cards into play.
Yeah, so you like rise from the grave something from the milled cards. It's gonna have a lot of power.
Yeah.
But this is a 4 mana aura that just gives your creature power and toughness, basically.
Yeah, this card and offsetting some of the downside of auras of giving you 2 cards back when it dies is interesting.
Yeah, but what if it gets airbended?
I'm so sad right now.
Like, I think that there's just too much downside on this card.
I agree. I think that's true. Like, you can get pacifism, you can get shuffled into your library. There are a lot of interactive spells that just punish this.
The black common exile spell, like...
Yeah, or just lightning strike your creature in response, your orificals.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think this card is far too high setup cost for not nearly enough gain. Like, there are auras where, like, they just win you the game. This is not one of them.
This will probably be like +3/+3 in most mid games at best. Like,
at best, yeah.
It's just not that good.
Yeah, no. This
I
card
think
is
this is a 10.
Yeah, no, it's
don't put it in your deck.
It's if you put it in your deck, you might win one game with it, but like there will be many, many, many more games where you're just blown out.
Unless we're misunderstanding how this card works, it just it's not good.
Yeah, no.
In limited, at least. It might be different in constructed, but yeah. Next up, the Earth King. 3 and a green for a 2/2 legendary human noble ally. When the Earth King enters, create a 4/4 green bear creature token. Okay, so what's the downside here? Well, whenever one or more creatures you control with power 4 or greater attack, search your library for up to that many basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle?
That card's messed up.
That's not downside, that's upside.
Wow.
So we're getting 6/6 worth of stats for 4 mana over 2 bodies, and then we're getting lands on top of it.
Yeah.
This card's nuts.
This card's real nice.
This card is excellent. I mean, it stabilizes the ground board. It gets you value over the course of the game. If the 2/2 sticks around, you trade your 4/4 off, and then later you get another 4/4 or like 4-power creature. This is just like a rate monster, I think.
Yeah, like if you have a 4-power creature in play already when you play this, you just get a land. And turns out creatures with 4 power, especially in green, are pretty good attackers.
Pretty good attackers. There's a theme in red-green of power 4 or greater, so like this card's just really nice. I want to give it a 1. I think it's just that good.
I think you're right.
Sometimes rate just forces you to give a card a 1.
Yeah.
This one also.
This one, but I don't think quite as much.
Not quite, yeah.
This is Diligent Zookeeper. It's 3 and a green for a 4/4 creature, human citizen ally. Each non-human creature you control gets +1/+1 for each of its creature types to a maximum of 10. So what this means, there's a lot of creatures in this format, and a lot of common creatures that... I mean, first off, there's a lot of humans in this set. This doesn't hit any of those. But there are a lot of like non-humans with 2 types, so this can give a lot of creatures +2/+2, like your turtle duck, or like cards like that. You also have the white 1/1 with 4 types. I think it's +4/+4 from this, and then you have a bunch of cards with 1 type as well, like you have like a spirit or stuff like that.
I believe we referenced this card in the first card we talked about in the set.
Yes.
That 1/1.
Yeah. So this card gives a lot of cards a substantial bonus. Notably, though, a lot of the cards it pumps are some of the like more medium commons in the set. There's like the thing I'm worried about this card is like the deck building cost around it. I mean, to be clear, there's not. When I say deck building, this is a 4-mana 4/4, so
Right.
it's
Like,
baseline
you're
is
basically
high.
putting it in most of your decks.
You
no
put, yeah,
question.
most of your green decks can play it anyway.
The question is like, do you value it like a bomb?
Yeah, like do you build around it? And I suspect the answer might actually be like, not really, especially if you only have one copy, because like a lot of the cards that like really benefit from it are questionable on rate otherwise. Like you could say like you could combo with like the 1/2 hawk that has 2 types that makes a clue. But if you don't have this card, that's still a 1/2.
Yeah,
card
I would say it is definitely not worth putting actively bad cards in your deck to make this card good.
Yeah, which means like which definitely like messes with the ceiling of how I'm playing with this card. But it's still like a 4/4 that will pump like a couple creatures a bit is like well worth playing.
If this pumps one of your creatures +1/+1, you're quite happy with it.
Yeah, I mean quite happy at like an uncommon level rate card.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but like that is like the almost minimum it can do, because you will have non-human creatures in your deck, and any non-human creature it gives +1/+1.
Yeah.
So like most of them will be +2/+2. That probably won't be the majority of creatures in your deck, because so many creatures in the set are allies. But I think this is just almost always a very excellent rate card. I think it's like pretty premium uncommon level grade. So I want to give it a 3.
I want to give it, I think, like a 3.5 or a 4. I think I might want to take like premium interaction over it, but I'm not sure.
I mean, compare it to the rate of the Earth King that we just gave a 1, right? Like 4-mana 4/4 plus 2/2 worth of stats at some point, probably. Like if it does that, it's just really, really strong rate.
I think a 3 is reasonable.
Yeah,
I definitely think a 3 is reasonable. I'm like,
but I agree. It's not. It does not have the upside of that card. Well, I guess it does have the upside, but it's just much harder. It doesn't have the consistency of that card.
I guess the main thing I would just want to caution people with this card is don't get too gung ho building around it unless you have like a consistent way to access it, like seismic sense or something.
Just put it in your deck and it'll be good. It'll vary depending on the deck that you happened to build, how good it is. Yeah. But like, don't try to make it good. It just already is good, and it's a trap to like do things that make your deck worse to make it better.
I agree. So I think 3.
Cool. Next up, Elemental Teachings. 4 and a green for an instant lesson. Search your library for up to 4 land cards with different names, kind of hard and limited, and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard, and the rest onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. 10.
This card does.
This is a 5-mana explosive vegetation with downside.
Yeah, you do not get the colors you want, basically ever, and it costs 5 mana.
This is a constructed card. We don't really need to consider it. It's just a 10.
Yeah, it's just a 10. Next up, we have Badger Mole Cub. This is 1 and a green for a 2/2 creature, Badger Mole. When this creature enters, Earthbend 1, and whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green.
Okay, so
hello there.
This card's obviously very strong, but like in limited, what do we think it actually is doing?
So baseline 2 mana, 2/2 Earthbend 1. That's 2 bodies on my 2-drop. That's pretty efficient. It's not, I wouldn't say like, that's like top level uncommon efficiency, I'd say. So what is this mana ability doing for us? It is like,
it's giving us 1 mana, basically.
It's giving us 1 mana, and the more we Earthbend, the more mana we're getting. It's like a pretty good mana dark. It's all green mana. I think this card's just like, quite efficient.
Yeah, it's just like really great rate.
I don't think it's like a bomb or anything, but I think it's just like, it's good rate, giving you a lot of board presence and mana for your 2-drop.
Yep, it's not going to take over the game on its own. It'll be quite good in every game you cast it.
Yeah.
So I would like to give it a 3.
I agree.
Cool. Next, The Legend of Kyoshi. This is our green flip saga. So the first chapter, draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control.
Also, this costs 4 green.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I forgot to read that. So 6 mana, draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. That is a little bit scarily conditional,
Yeah.
but the upside is huge. So
Yes.
high variance, I would say. High variance on the first. Second chapter, Earthbend X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. That land becomes an island in addition to its other types. Interesting.
Cute flavor.
Yeah, cute flavor. And then the flip side is Avatar Kyoshi. It's a 5/4 legendary avatar. Lands you control have trample and hexproof, and you can tap it to add X mana of any one color, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So baseline, it taps for 5.
Yeah.
Which is just like a lot.
This definitely seems like the most inefficient of these sagas we've seen.
It is the one that has the highest potential to be bad, for sure.
Yes.
Like, by a lot. This card will be awful sometimes when you're behind, but if you're in any kind of parity or ahead and can cast it, it's quite excellent.
Yeah.
Like, if this draws 2 cards, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I'm alright with it. It's still like at that point, like, yeah.
I mean, it like draws 2 and then it earthbends for like 4, right? That's like a 6 mana 4/4 draw 2 a little bit, and then it flips into a 5/4.
Yeah, no, that's definitely worth your mana.
Yeah.
And like, also notably, like, your opponent can respond to this and kill your biggest creature, so like,
Yeah.
proceed with a little bit of caution there.
But I guess I would say, like, one of the important things I think to see about this card is, like, you don't have to get the dramatic huge upside for it to be still very good.
I agree.
You just need to not have it be like they kill your last creature and you get nothing.
Yeah.
Which is possible and contributes to the card's downside, which is like more notably present than these other sagas, especially this one costing 6 and not really affecting the board immediately. So that's like a tough ask, but it does reward you for it, like, pretty strongly.
I agree.
So I think this card, I want to give it like a 3. You're putting it in basically every green deck. You need to be a little cautious about how much you're like playing big creatures, not necessarily to like draw a lot of cards with it, but just to gum up the board. But if you do, this will close games.
Yeah, I think a 3 is comfortable. Like, I'm both thinking about trending higher and lower than that, but I think so that's a good place to settle on for now.
Yeah, I guess basically what I would say is that, like, this gives you a lot of stats and multiple cards if you have any creatures on board. So, like, I think that's just probably good enough, even though the downside is quite low and it's present. But it's, like, unlikely that you have nothing at all.
Downside's quite high, but yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, the flip side, the 5/4 is a bit understated for 6 mana, and the mana ability is nothing I'm that worried about, but it is nice that it, like, buffs your land creatures a little bit.
Yep. And to be clear, when I said downside quite low, I meant like floor is quite low.
Oh, yeah.
As in, like, the downside is bad for you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alright, next up, we're into multicolored. We have Aang Swift Savior. 1 blue-white for a 2/3 legendary creature human avatar ally with flash and flying. And when Aang enters, airbend up to 1 other target creature or spell. And then also, a Waterbend 8 transform Aang. And Aang transforms into Aang and Law, Ocean's Fury. Legendary creature, avatar spirit ally, 5/5, reach, trample. When Aang and Law attack, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control.
Whew.
This card does so much.
So much optionality, so much rate.
Yeah, 3 mana 2/3 flyer is nice. Flash is even nicer. Interacting with a creature or a spell means you just have so much flexibility. And then it transforms into a bomb.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of everything you want in a limited card, right?
Yeah, this card just does literally everything, yeah.
I think, I mean, it's multicolor, so you tax it a little bit for that, and it doesn't really, like, win the game on its own on the front side. The back side, obviously, really helps and does almost that.
I would like to splash.
But it's pretty expensive to flip over. But yeah, I would certainly be happy splashing this card. It, like, makes you back up the tempo that you lost from, like, needing to find your source or whatever.
I just want to give it a 1.
I think 1 is totally fair. Even with the multicolor attacks, even with it not being, like, win the game on its own, this is, I think, one of the best cards in the set. It is a pull into blue-white. It's a pull into splashing it in any kind of deck that can. Yeah, card's awesome. I would like to give it a 1. Next, we've got Katara, Water Tribe's Hope. This is 2 white, blue, blue for a legendary human warrior ally. It's a 3/3 with vigilance. When Katara enters, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Okay, so you've got like 4/4 worth of stats for 5 over 2 bodies. That's like a little inefficient, but it has this ability. Waterbend X. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. X can't be 0, so you can't like sack your ward for free or something. That's a really powerful ability.
You can only do it during your turn, notably.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to read that part. Yeah, only during your turn, so you can't block with this.
However, this is so insanely threatening.
I mean, yeah, like you already have 5 mana.
Yeah.
So next turn, you're threatening to make all your creatures 5/5s, 6/6s if you hit a land drop, and you just made 2 creatures.
No, you're threatening 6/6s because she has vigilance. Your land drop is 7/7s.
True.
Like,
yeah.
Any creature with vigilance also boosts this. Any like tokens lying around, like Katara threatens a lot of damage if you have any board presence, and she gives you board presence.
Yeah, I mean this card is I think like a must answer that gives you a small amount of value once like if they kill it. So it's up there. Like the upside is just you win the game.
Yeah, and even the turn you play it, if like you have some 1/1s sitting around, you like any attacks, you're already threatening like turning your creatures into like 3/3s.
Yeah, so you can just like attack with one of your creatures and leave like 4 others up to you know like these 2 and 2 you already had, and then just threaten to make that creature a 4/4, assuming you're not like getting attacked back for a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot of this really good play patterns with this. There's a lot of flexibility in that.
Do we think we want to just give this a 1?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, this card's great.
This card's phenomenal. Next up, Azula, Cunning Usurper. 2 blue, black, black for a 4/4 legendary creature, human noble rogue. Firebending 2. When Azula enters, target opponent exiles a non-token creature they control. Then they exile a non-land card from their graveyard. During your turn, you may cast cards exiled with Azula, and you may cast them as though they had flash. Mana of any type may be spent to cast those spells. During your turn, you can cast them as though they had flash. That's weird. Oh, because of firebending. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So this is a 5 mana 4/4 firebending 2 that kind of draws 2 cards.
It draws your opponent's worst card in play and their worst non-land card in their graveyard.
Yeah.
Which, like, for my 5 mana 4/4, yeah, that's pretty good.
If they kill Azula, notably, this is templated so that it's not as long as they remain exiled. It's an ability that she has that she lets you cast them. So if she dies, you can't cast them anymore, which is relevant. Like, they do have a meaningful turn of time to kill her and not let you actually draw the cards. But if you get to untap after casting Azula, I mean, for one thing, you've made them exile, like they've sacrificed a creature, so you've already gotten 5 mana 4/4 and they sack a guy, and then you've just like drawn some cards and you probably have the mana to deploy them the following turn. This card's just great, right?
Yeah, I mean, also firebending helps you deploy them. Yeah, this card is like, the downside's there, and it's not ever drawing you like excellent cards. I'm not saying not ever. It's rarely drawing you like excellent cards, but yeah, it's affecting the board, getting you up cards. It's
5 mana 4/4 they sack something is just good.
Yeah,
I think I want to give this a 2. I think it's like almost rate of a 1, but it gives them a window to like answer it, and if they do, then you didn't get an insane amount of value, and it's multicolor.
I think 2 is comfortable at double black blue for this effect.
But like really strong card. If you're in blue black, this is a bomb.
Yeah.
Next, Zuko Conflicted. Black red for a legendary human rogue. It's a 2/3. At the beginning of your first main phase, choose one that hasn't been chosen and you lose 2 life. So your options are draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Zuko, add red, or exile Zuko, then return him to the battlefield under an opponent's control.
Oh, this card's weird.
So that's obviously the one you're probably choosing like last.
Yes.
But notably, you can, if they're at 2, just give them Zuko and they die.
That's true.
So like, you know, if they're at 4, it's not horrible to just give them this, because what are they going to do? Not give it right back and lose 2 life?
Yeah.
Like, this does kind of finish a game in a weird way. It also is just like 2 mana, 2/3, draw a card, lose 2. which is also really good. And
Yeah.
then going forward from there, it can become a 3/4. It can give you mana.
But it will, like, in the process, steal you
It's dealing you a lot of damage,
Like,
right?
2 is a lot.
2 is a lot. So you're taking like 8 damage from this if you're using all of the modes, and then you do eventually give it to your opponent, which can be a downside if you haven't pulled ahead with it.
Yeah.
This is a really hard card to evaluate, but I think it is quite good.
I think it's good, not quite good. I think I want to, like, you want to be in a very, very assertive deck.
Yeah, although I think like 2 mana 3/4 definitely helps you not be behind on board, right?
Yeah, but it 2 mana 3/4 that eventually is gonna not be on your set of board
That's
doesn't
true.
help, and it is like also losing life does not really help you
Right.
get ahead. Like, I want to be playing this card if I'm expecting to like be ahead or losing the game anyway as my strategy for most games.
Yeah.
Like, more aggressive than your typical.
Which black-red in this format definitely is, for what it's worth.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I agree. Like, I don't think the upside is amazing. Or, like, the upside is very good, but the downside is there. So I guess I would say, like, the power of this card is not, like, to the ceiling. But I think overall, the package, you're getting a lot more than you're risking.
Yeah. I guess where I'm at with this card, I think it's either going to be like a 5 or an 8, and I'm not sure.
I think it might even be like a 3, and I think lowest I'm going is like 6 or 7. I don't know. I think this card is quite good. I think the game that you're playing is worth it to play. I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's also the multi-color attacks hits this one pretty hard because you want to play it on turn 2.
Yeah, no, that is very true. Like you do not play this in any other deck besides a black-red deck.
And also, like, if you want it on turn 2 and like.
Well, I mean, playing it later is not that bad. Like 2 mana, 2/3 cantrip.
No, you're true.
It's just like good. And there will be spots where if you're behind, you kind of can't cast this. So like that's really notable. That's a really big downside. I personally think I want to give this a 4. I think this card's just good, and you're happy to play it in any black-red deck.
I'm gonna start with a 5, but
cool. Yeah, I think discussion is exactly what we wanted there because I don't know if I'm right.
All right, next up we have Ozai the Phoenix King. This is 2 black, red. Legendary creature, human noble. It is a 7/7 with trample, firebending 4, and haste.
Oh my god.
That is a big beater. If you were to lose unspent mana, that mana becomes red instead. Ozai has flying and indestructible as long as you have 6 or more unspent mana. So this card just hits so hard, so fast, and like it's not that hard to give it flying and indestructible.
I mean, if you have a creature with firebending 2,
yeah,
you cast this, you attack with both of them in that combat. He has flying and indestructible.
Yeah.
And then post-combat, you get to cast a 6-drop.
Yeah. Also like
that's nuts.
Also notably with this card, like a 7/7 is hard to trade with, especially if they're not seeing it coming, or like it's not in play already. So like you can usually like the turn you play it, attack for 7, and like it probably won't die, and then the next turn, you're just representing a combat trick that doesn't really spend your mana.
Yeah.
Like this card. You need to be in black and red, really, unless you have, like, really, really powerful fixing. If you have really powerful fixing, I might splash it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game-winning bomb that costs 6.
Yeah.
So, what do we grade that? I think we grade that a 1.5.
I would agree, yeah. It costs 6, and it's basically just a black-red card.
Very restrictive 6.
But, yeah, it is, like... worth being in black-red.
I would first pick this, and I would happily go into black-red, like plan to go into black-red, having first picked it.
Agreed.
Cool. All right, 1.5 for Ozai. Sick card.
Yeah.
Really, really, I think captures the flavor of like a super powerful villain. I think this card is like a nice design. I
agree.
All right, next, Toph, Hard-Headed Teacher, 2 red-green for a legendary human warrior ally. It's a 3/4. When Toph enters, you may discard a card. If you do, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. That's really nice. That's like optional Archaeomancer things for when you have like a really important spell to get back. Obviously, you need to discard, whatever. When you cast a spell, Earthbend 1. If that spell is a lesson, put an additional +1/+1 counter on that land.
So basically Earthbend too.
Yeah, if it's a lesson.
Yeah.
So this card, I think, is really, really nice.
Yeah, it seems nice.
It's just a lot of stats. It's like got this nice Gravedigger for your spells kind of thing if you really want that in the late game, which you often will. Like that's just a really nice ability to have the access to.
It's also just like it's like on any spell in Earthbend's one. Like that's just like it's gonna accumulate. Yeah. You're gonna cast spells in more games of Magic.
I don't think your opponent is really allowed to let you untap with this.
Yeah.
This card's great. I think I want to give it like a 2.
I think I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. It's just really, really good.
Yeah. Alright, next up we have Boomy Unleashed. This is 3 red green for a legendary creature human noble ally. It's a 5/4 with trample. When Boomy enters Earthbend 4. When Boomy deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Only land creatures can attack during that combat phase. So, 5 mana, 5/4 trample, ETB, Earthbend 4. That's a lot of stats for one card. And then if Boomy connects, you get more damage.
That's just an amazing stat package.
Yeah, and like it also like generates mana with it when it hits, and like trample means that even if it trades off, it'll hit and do the thing.
A lot of the time, yeah.
I think most of what excites me about this card is just the stats, and the mana is like kind of a bonus.
Yep.
But like
5 mana is a lot, but you're getting way more than 5 mana's worth out of your 5 mana. So this card's great. I think I want to give it a 1.5.
I agree.
Yeah. Like you cast this on turn 5, and if you're not incredibly far behind, your opponent is just like, oh my god, how am I gonna deal with this? They just got so much value, and I'm gonna need to like prevent them from connecting with this, so I need to like double block it, and I can't block any of their other creatures. Yeah, it's just really, really good. Alright, next, Earth King's Lieutenant. Green-white for a 1/1 human soldier ally. Has trample. 1/1 with trample. What's going on there? When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each other ally creature you control. And then whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
This card's sick.
Yeah, this is a Thalia's Lieutenant for allies.
Yeah,
basically.
and there are a lot more, like, Thalia's Lieutenant in its set had a bunch of humans. I think there are more allies in this set.
I mean, this is just a bunch of stats in one card, right? Like, you cast this, you get maybe 2 or 3 worth of stats. Like, you know, 1 ally or 2 allies in play, 2 or 3 worth of stats. And then every other time you cast an ally, you get 1/1 worth of stats in addition to whatever the ally is.
And 1/1 worth of trample stats.
Right,
which is like
great.
Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like, again, super efficient package. I think green-white is probably going to be the most ally-y deck, and so this is a perfect fit into there. It's a 2-drop, but you don't really care about casting it on turn 2, because it'll kind of get you value whichever order you cast things in. So I like it a lot. I want to give it a 3. I don't think it's kind of running away with the game, but it's doing a lot.
I think it is running away with the game a lot of the time. I'm between a 1.5 and a 2 on this card.
Okay. I mean, not every creature in your deck is going to be an ally.
Yeah, but I think a lot of them are, and like especially if you take this early, a lot more of them can be. And I think it's just like...
How would you compare this to like the 3-mana 2/3 that gives allies +1/+1?
This card is head and shoulders above because it's pumping your allies in a way that keeps on the board when this dies, and then this card also, with all the ally tokens running around as well, accumulates a lot of stats and is a threat they have to answer.
That's true.
And it's all for 2 mana.
I think we gave that card like a 4, so I think giving this a 2 is probably fair.
Yeah, I'm like even leaning towards 1.5. I think this card's incredible, and like I would consider trying to splash it in ally decks.
Whoa, interesting. Okay. I'm happy with my 2, but I can kind of see your vision.
Alright, next up we have Sandbender Scavengers. This is white-black for a 1/1 creature, human rogue. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, you may exile it. When you do, return target creature card with mana value less than or equal to this creature's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. Huh.
Okay, so this is like an unruly mob, kind of, although it's only when you sacrifice things, which is rough.
Yeah, no, you need to... This card is deeply synergy driven. I am never putting this in a black-white deck if I'm not sacrificing permanents. Like, if I'm not having a like good enough density to like maybe like somewhere between 4 and 6 ways to do that, maybe.
Yeah.
And then when it dies, you may exile it and turn a creature with mana less than equal to the creature's power. So like,
you kind of need to get it up to like 3 or 4 to be super happy with that.
I mean, like even at 2, like you sacrifice your Jody and get it back or something like that.
Yeah.
Like there can be like, I think in white black specifically, there's a bunch of those like gummy 2-drops that you like find getting back. All that being said, though, this card just feels like I need to be in black-white and in black-white synergy, and then it's like good uncommon rate.
Yeah.
And that's the ceiling.
I agree. You really need to be in the sack deck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
You need to be
in the sack deck.
You don't have a choice.
So I would just say this is like a pretty straightforward build around, and I would give it like a 7 on our objective, not counting build around exactly scale, where like if you build around it, it can be like really solid and really good, probably up to like a 5 or something in a heavy sack deck. But if you're not building around it, you should not be putting it in your deck.
I also might be taking it like a 7.5. I don't know if I'm taking it over like good monocolor commons.
Yeah, that's fair. I one thing to note, I guess, is that this isn't like a gated once per turn kind of thing. So you sack 2 things, it immediately goes to a 3/3 like that. You know, is pretty good. But yeah, 7.5. I think I like it.
Sounds good.
Also, just noting, I think it's Judy, not Jody, because it's like a play on the name Judy.
No, you're right.
Anyway, we've mentioned that card now a couple times, so I just wanted to say. All right, Sokka Bold Boomeranger. Blue-red for a 1/1 legendary human warrior ally. When Sokka enters, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Okay, that's like pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd pay 2 mana for that.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, maybe not if it were just a 1/1.
Yeah.
But it's not just a 1/1. Whenever you cast an artifact or lesson spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Sokka. Sorry.
On Saga.
Saga. I mean, this card is nice. Like, Legend or Artifact is pretty broad. Or, sorry, Lesson.
Yeah.
God, we're getting all kinds of words mixed up. Lesson or Artifact is pretty broad. You'll probably be able to grow this to, like, a 3/3, 4/4 eventually.
Yeah. Also just Lesson. Like, there's not that many artifacts, but, like...
the Lesson is the broader part of it, for sure. And that's, like, nice. And the, like, Rummaging is sort of nice, too. It can pitch some lands if you draw this late. You draw this early, it grows, so you don't really care about the Rummaging unless it like got you to your land drops, which is also super useful. This is just good when you draw it early, good when you draw it late. It's just a great card. I want to give it a 4. Like, the impact isn't quite there, but
yeah, I like 4.
It's just solid.
I like 4 for Osaka. Alright, next up we have a Beifeng's Bounty Hunters. This is 2 black-green for a 4/4 creature human mercenary. Whenever a non-land creature you control dies, earthbend X, where X is that creature's power. So that means it triggers off itself, and any other creature dying leaves behind a creature of the same stats.
That's nice.
That's really nice. This card is really nice.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, things don't die, get exiled, get bounced, whatever. Like, they won't trigger, so it's a little narrow in that sense, but, like, your opponent can't really enter into combat with you
that's
while
makes
this is on the
combat
battlefield.
Yeah.
So this card's great. Like, the baseline body is totally good. I want to give this a 1.
I want to give it, I think, a 1.5 because of, like, multicolor attacks is one thing, although like not that sad to splash
this
it.
is kind of just a 4-mana 4/4 that dies into a 4/4.
Yeah, which is nice. I was thinking that there are going to be situations where, like, games aren't as much about combat, and this card comes a little bit worse.
But, like, the rate is insane. Like, we gave Earth King a 1, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think, that's probably fair to... I mean, like, thinking, like, multicolor attacks plus, like, I think it's slightly worse than Earth King on rate, but...
Is it even? Like...
That, I mean, that's a good question. It is kind of a fucked up card. So,
yeah,
like, I think
whenever any of your creatures die, you just replace their power.
Yeah, but unlike Earth King, like, if they interact with this immediately in a way that doesn't kill it,
you get a 4/4 instead of a 2/2.
No, you get
in a way that doesn't kill it. Yeah. I didn't
like
hear that in a way that doesn't.
They exile it or they shuffle into your library, and it's like, okay.
Sure.
Like, I'm saying that.
With the Earth King, all you're left with is a 2/2, which is like
a 2/2
little bit better.
That can grab your lands. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the upside on this is that they can't kill any of your creatures without replacing them.
I'm not disputing the card is fucked up. To me, it's the difference between a 1 and a 1.5, and I think
Sure.
the 1 is reasonable.
Okay, yeah, we'll agree to disagree. I'm happy
Yeah.
giving it 1, but 1.5,
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from for sure. Okay, Iroh Tea Master, 1 red-white for a 2/2 legendary human citizen ally. When Iroh enters, create a food token, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have target opponent gain control of target permanent you control. When you do, create a 1/1 white ally creature token, put a +1/+1 counter on that token for each permanent you own that your opponents control. So you can give them your food to start and make a 2/2. So this is kind of 3 mana, 2 2/2s, and they get food. Right?
That's kind of nice.
That's good.
And that's just
That's the floor. Yeah. Right, that's like what it does when it enters. And then you, next turn, let's say you give them a land, or you give them a clue, or a 1/1 that you have laying around, or the 2/2 that you just made, and you make a 3/3.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's just even more value. It's just 3 mana, 2 2/2s, and then it gets more value every turn after that.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. It's like, obviously, like, early in the game, its ceiling is mostly going to be like 2 2/2s, because like you don't really want to be giving lands when it matters. But like
you're getting a 3/3, and then a 4/4. Like, I think that's just worth it, probably.
Sometimes it might be, yeah. Like, it is definitely powerful and an option you have. This card definitely is quite good.
Like, I would give them my 2-drop to make a 3/3, right?
That's true.
Like, I think you just have anything laying around, it's usually going to be worth it for you to give it to them.
No, that's very true.
So, I think this might low-key be kind of like an insane rate card.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to hit quite bomb level for me, because there's like some setup here, but it's not that. It's less setup than it looks like.
I a little bit have a suspicion that this is like a 1.
I want to start it off as like a 2 and trending heavily upwards.
Okay. I'm going to have a little bit of a hot take, and I think Iroh is a 1. I think this is like probably going to be one of the best cards in this
I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have the Lion Turtle. This is 1 blue-green for a legendary creature, Elder Cat Turtle. It is a 3/6 with vigilance and reach. So what's the downside? When it enters, you gain 3 life. The Lion Turtle cannot attack or block unless there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. There we go. Also has tap, add 1 mana of any color.
Okay.
So
basically cannot attack or block for the first like 1 or 2 or 3 turns.
When it comes down, it's a blue-green Manalith that gains you 3 life.
Which is not horrible.
Not horrible, yeah.
Manalith gain 3 is not that bad.
And like, there's a lot of incentives to just put a bunch of lessons in your deck. They're just like good rate interactive cards.
Yeah. I think I like this a good amount. I don't love it. It's not a bomb. But
I think it's like quite efficient at what
once you turn it online, it's a really meaningful body.
Yeah, and it has reach, so it's just kind of like will block everything that matters.
Yeah, you need to turn it on. I think you need to have a plan to turn it on to put this in your deck and expect it to be good.
I agree.
But if you do, it's really nice. So I think I'm not putting this in like the premium rare category, but I want to give it a 5. I think it's definitely better than your average common level card by like a good degree, but you do need to do some work, and even when you do that work, the upside isn't like incredible. It's just quite good.
And it is also like blue and green. It's not like great. It's not like an actual Manalith fixing you pretty easily.
Right. Yeah, like you do need to kind of have your base colors already when you play this. So this Manalith, one of the big upsides of it is that it helps you kind of fix those sorts of draws.
I think I'm going to give it like a 4.5, but I'm in the same range.
Cool. Next, Katara the Fearless. We have Bant, so just green, white, blue, for a legendary human warrior ally. And it says, or I guess it's a 3/3, and then it says, if a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Huh. So, like, Bant ally space will definitely be a thing, but it's sort of unclear how much of a thing.
Yeah, it's also unclear, like, how splashable a card like this is, because, like, 3 color, like, you're never going to have a base 3 color deck.
Yeah, the setup cost is quite high here.
Yeah, and the card does nothing besides be a 3/3 on its own.
Right. I think where I'm at with this is that, like, there will be decks where I play it, because it's happens to be easy to cast and I happen to have some triggers that are worth it. But I am not trying to build around this in the draft unless like Bant allies or green white allies that has ability to splash or whatever happens to be like a very strong deck in the format, which it very well might be, but I'm not like banking on that. This reads more like a commander constructed card to me than a limited card. I don't think they like intentionally tried to design this for it to be like a banger in the limited format.
Yeah, I think this is the kind of card where I will never prioritize it. I'll pick it up opportunistically, and if I'm like in or adjacent to the space, and then sometimes in that space it'll be like really nice, but other times I just won't be able to cast it and I'll just move on. So for me, I kind of want that to me is like about an 8.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah, like 8 recognizes the upside while saying that most of the time you really don't need to prioritize this and kind of shouldn't be planning on putting it in your deck.
I think like cards like this is like one of the big distinctions of our grading scale is that we're talking about where we're picking it in the pack, not just like a 1 through 10 grading. And so like for a card, there are cards that are like high upside but very narrow. Those are like your Terra Symbiosis kind of cards. Those are the cards that you recognize their upside but don't need to prioritize, and so take opportunistically with looking to maybe play them if the stars align.
Totally.
Next up, we have Aang at the Crossroads. 2 green, white, blue for a 3/3 legendary creature, human avatar ally with flying. When Aang enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card with mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. When another creature you control leaves the battlefield, transform Aang at the beginning of the next upkeep. The transform side is a 4/4 legendary creature avatar ally with flying. Land creatures you control have vigilance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Earthbend 2. That's a lot for one card. I want to splash this card so much.
Yeah, I mean, you just get so many words.
Yeah, you play down as a 3/3 flyer that gets you another body, like creature with 4 or less. Like, you can do the hypergeometric calculator if you want. I think that's going to hit a lot of the time.
Yeah, 5 cards is a lot to look at. Creature with mana value 4 or less is a good chunk of your deck.
Yeah.
It's probably like a quarter of your deck or something.
And then a creature leaving is a thing that's going to happen at some point.
And then it just becomes like a 4/4 flyer that
Turns
gives creatures every turn.
Yeah,
or
no,
at
this
least
is
stats.
just... This card's crazy. I want to just give it a 1.
I mean, I think 3 color, I don't think I can quite get to 1.
3
but
color,
like 1.5, I think.
With a cycle of dual lands and it being a 5-drop and then having playing late, I don't know. I think I can take this first pick and plan to splash it and be happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid, but I think I'm going to still stick with 1.5. Like, I don't think I'm first picking this and being like, I'm going to try to play Bant at whatever cost just to be able to play this card. Which I think is kind of what I would call a 1. But I agree to disagree.
I'm kind of in that space.
Yeah. Next, Firelord Azula. This is 1 into Grixis, 1 blue, black, red. It's a legendary human noble. It's a 4/4. It has firebending 2. And whenever you cast a spell while Firelord Azula is attacking, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
So that's quite powerful, but the mana cost for a card like this is quite restrictive.
Very restrictive. The stats are there. Like, 4 mana 4/4 is good. Firebending 2 is nice. But you need another thing to enable this to really do something powerful.
You need something instant speed and to untap with Azula. And like have it be worth it, because then you have to attack
and have
with
a good
Azula.
attack.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a lot to ask. Yeah. I think this is another kind of like Katara, but maybe slightly better, where you really need, I think, to kind of end up in the space that it's good in, and then you'll play it if you happen to have the fixing, which is harder in Grixis than it is in Bant, because it's just not a green combination. It's good when you do it, but I don't think you should go out of your way to make this card excellent, because I don't even think that when you're like fully enabling it, it is excellent. I think it's just like quite threatening.
Yeah.
So I want to give Firelord Azula an 8. I think it's basically the same as Katara.
Works for me. Alright, next up we have Toph, the first Metal Bender. This is 1 red, green, white for a legendary creature, human warrior ally. It's a 3/3. Non-token artifacts you control are lands in addition to the other types. In the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2.
That's very cute. She's bending metal.
Yeah, this card is interesting. Baseline 4 mana 3/3 end step, Earthbend 2. This, unlike the other 3 color cards we're seeing, this is immediately giving you some value and like providing that turnover turn. So that's like quite nice. It leaves something behind. It also has some cute interactions. Like metal bending artifacts can get pretty weird.
Because they like return or something?
Yeah, so like if you have like Barrel of Blasting Jelly, you turn it into a creature, and then you sacrifice it, you get another Barrel of Blasting Jelly.
That's nice.
And so you kind of get
Notably,
to like, kill a creature every turn.
You can't really metal bend your clues in that way because they'll go away, right? They're
also because it says non-token on the card. Yeah.
Oh. I should Yeah, good point.
So yeah, no, it's like...
There aren't many non-token artifacts in the set at all.
Yeah, there are not that many, and so like there's not that many those kind of interactions, but like there are some, they're cute, like you metal bend your sword and the sword can come back after it trades off, which is like cute, but not something you're really looking at to do. I think the main combo with this is like Barrel of Blasting Jelly, which is fine. It's pretty inefficient, but...
Yeah, but how do we think about 1 and Anaya, 4 mana 3/3 at the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2?
I quite like it.
Yeah, that's just like really good. If you can cast it, which is hard but doable, especially in green. So, I mean, I think I'm trying to splash this if I can.
Yeah. It is more doable to splash it with Barrel of Blasting Jelly.
Oh, true. That is a really good point. If you just pick up 2 of those and play this, and it's just nice.
Those 2 cards just are like nice together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this card's like pretty nice, and I definitely am taking it higher than I'm taking the other 3 color cards. Like besides like Aang, I think I'm taking this card and like trying to build around it a bit, but I don't think I'm like, it's not so powerful that I'm like, oh my god, this is a bomb when it comes down. It's just like a very good rate card. So I kind of want to give it like a 4 because I think multiple attacks hits it hard.
Yeah, like 3 color cards are very hard to cast in limited, so I think 4 is totally fair for this. It's like upside of a 2 when you can cast it on turn 4, but downside is real too.
Yeah.
Alright, Sokka, Tenacious Tactician. 1 and a Jeskai, blue, red, white. So 4 mana for a 3/3 legendary human warrior ally. It has Menace and Prowess. Other allies you control have Menace and Prowess. Oh. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white ally creature token.
This card feels a lot like Katara to me, I think. Where like,
yeah,
you kind of need it does a little bit more immediately, but you kind of need other spells for it to really start popping off.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I mean, it goes pretty big if you're doing the thing. And it's sort of on its own, like, giving all of your other allies Menace and Prowess and making allies, like, pooping them out on its own. I think this is, like, better than Katara.
Maybe, but the thing about... I mean, this is also an issue with Katara, but, like, the 3 color cards often going to be one of the later spells you cast.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not going to try to, like, sandbag spells to cast after this. It's like if you hit your colors late or draw this late, then, like, it is... just really a 3 color 4 mana 3 to give you stuff Menace.
I agree.
But it is like also quite threatening.
Yeah, this is a hard one to evaluate because the upside is just ginormous. Like if you cast 2 or 3 spells in a turn after you've resolved this, you win the game. Yeah. Like, assuming you had like 1 or 2 allies laying around, which is pretty likely in the set. But that's a high cost. That's like a high setup cost. And the floor is low, but not horrible. Obviously, the real floor of a 3 color card is you can't cast it, especially a non-green one. But like 4 mana 3/3 with Menace and Prowess is like slightly below rate, but not dramatically below rate. So if you put this in your deck and you can pretty consistently cast it, I think it's worth putting in your deck, like pretty clearly.
Yeah.
So I want to give Sokka a 7, 6, yeah, something like that. I think 7 is probably.
I think
fair.
7 makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, weird 7, but 7.
Yeah. Next up, we have Fire Lord Zuko. This is red, white, black for a legendary creature, human noble ally. It's a 2/4. Firebending X, where X is Fire Lord Zuko's power. So it starts out with Firebending 2, and then when you cast a spell from exile, or whenever you cast a spell from exile, and whenever a permanent you control enters from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
Huh.
So this is yet another one. Like, I think all these 3 color cards are cards that like synergize with other cards in their space, and require you to be doing other cards in their space, more or less.
Yeah, what cards is this synergizing with?
Airbending.
Okay. Notably, actually, someone pointed this out in Discord. There are only like 3 or 4 cards in the set that airbend things.
Yeah, there's not that many.
Yeah.
I feel like there's. It also works with like any sort of like exile the top card of your library effects, which like Monocolored Zuko has.
Yeah. So there's stuff to enable it, but I think it's not super common that you're actually going to be doing this.
It is nice that this card is like it's a 2/4, which like means it can sometimes just attack into like 3/3s and firebend, but it is red, white, black for a card that I feel like you want. It really wants to be like the first thing you cast in its synergy space, and it won't be.
Yeah, I think
I'm not a fan really. I think because of specifically the mana cost.
Yeah, unless there's like ways to enable this at common that I'm just kind of forgetting that are like very easy to do. If you can get like 7 or 8 of them into a deck, then maybe this is worth playing. But even then, you have to be in Mardu.
And you're just getting counters.
Right.
It's
I
not
mean,
like
one counter on each creature you control is good.
Oh wait, oh no, it's each creature. Yeah, for something like that.
Yeah.
No, that is true. That's true.
Like that's really good. If the payoff is worth it, but it seems very hard to enable, and it's a 3-color non-green card.
Yeah.
So I think I want to give this
like 8.5.
8.5 is exactly where I was landing.
Yeah. Also, like non-green sucks.
Yeah, like you'll know it when you want it, and it'll be like pretty good if you're doing everything that it wants. Yeah. Next, Iroh Grand Lotus. This one, on the other hand, is interesting and fun. 3 and Teamer, 3 green, blue, red. It's a legendary human noble ally. It is a 5/5 with firebending 2. During your turn, each non-lessened instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost. And during your turn, each lessened card in your graveyard has flashback 1.
This card seems great, and I don't really think about it like a 3-color card, because I think the lesson space has multiple ramp spells that fix your mana.
Yeah,
so
you already want to play fixing spells with this.
And this is like your 6-drop top end. I think this card is like extremely splashable.
Yes.
Like it is the last card you want to play in your lesson deck. Like this is the epitome of what I want a 3-color card to be. Is like I can play out my card, like play my lessons, interact with the board, then I slam this and I draw a bunch of cards immediately if I have more mana or the next turn. Like they have to deal with this, and it replays lessons so efficiently.
Yeah,
this card I think is like
this card's messed up.
Obviously it has a build around cost of putting spells in your deck and
lessons specifically.
Yeah, lessons, but even like other instant sorceries work.
But like you untap with this, you got 2 lessons in your yard and like 1 other non-creature spell.
Yeah, even you just have a lightning strike in your graveyard.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. Like this card I think is worth building around. I've already liked the lesson space. I think this is not exactly a bomb because it costs 6 and you need to untap with it, and it's not great when you're behind, but it's as close to that as you can get.
I would not. It's not great if you're behind and also behind on mana.
Yeah.
But like it is a way to get back from behind if you have like some interaction in your graveyard.
Yeah, I think I want to give Iroh a 3. I think it's like really worth putting in your deck, building around, drafting so that you can play it. But I don't think I'm like, oh, what's the like category of cards I really want to open? Pack 1, pick 1. Oh, Iroh is like one of them. Unless I just happen to think Lessons is the best deck in the format, which it might be, but that's more about the deck than about Iroh.
I'm gonna say Iroh has 2.5. I think it's above the cards we've seen at 3 for me.
Cool, fair enough.
All right, next up we have Avatar Aang. This is red, green, white, blue for a legendary creature, human avatar ally. He's a 4/4 flying firebending 2. Whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, draw a card.
Whew.
Then, if you've done all 4 this turn, transform Avatar Aang. Aang, Master of Elements, is the flip side. Legendary creature avatar ally, 6/6 flying. Spells you cast cost white, blue, black, red, green less to cast, and this can reduce generic costs.
Whew.
So spells you
That's
cast
nuts.
basically
it's kind of an omniscience.
Yeah, it is kind of an omniscience. And then at the beginning of each upkeep, you may transform Aang, Master of Elements. If you do, you gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, put 4+4 +1/+1 counters on him, and he deals 4 damage to each opponent.
So unfortunately, we're never really seeing the backside
Yeah.
of this card.
Doing
in
all four,
limited.
doing all of these four in a turn, I would say is technically possible, and I will expect it to happen more than 0 times over the course of this format. But it's like about as high as setup cost can get, and it's very win more. Because if you're doing all four of those, it means you have a lot of mana. Because I think the big one here, the most restrictive one, I think, is airbending. Because like you said, there aren't that many ways to airbend, and all of them usually cost discrete cards that have tempo impact that you probably want to use setting up your Avatar Aang deck. If you're playing them at all, and I don't even know if you want to play them at all in the same deck as Avatar Aang.
I basically think it functions well enough to just say you're never going to do this.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
But yeah.
If it happens, take the screenshot.
But yeah, so I think Avatar Aang is a card. It's a green card probably because it's very, I think, almost impossible to splash it if you're not already in green. And then it's a 4 mana, 4/4 flying, attack, make 2 mana, draw a card, plus draw a card off a bunch of other things.
That's really good though.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna cast this card more often than most 4-color cards in limited because the payoff is there, and the green fixing in this set is like doable for casting a 4-color card. I think.
Yes.
So this card's nice. I think I would probably like first pick it and try to build around it, and assume that I'm never seeing the backside, which doesn't really matter because it's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard to make work. Like you really need to support it, but if you do, yeah, like this is worth. I want to give it a
3?
4.
4. I think 4 is reasonable.
Yeah, like
It's
4
very-
recognizes that it's very hard to cast,
I agree.
but
Yeah.
I think it is worth it, and you should try to cast it.
Agreed.
Next, White Lotus Tile, 4 colorless for an artifact. This artifact enters tapped, and you can tap it to add X mana of any one color, or X is the greatest number of creatures you control that have a creature type in common.
10.
10.
This card, all it does is add some mana. Like, you thought 3 mana Manalith was rough? How about 4 mana Manalith that sometimes adds 0 mana or 1 mana?
Yeah, it is very clearly a commander plant that is not playable in limited. Obviously, the joke is that you can choose ally, and you probably generate like 3 or 4 mana. Okay, great. Maybe that'll like come up sometimes if you put this card in your deck, but even if you do put this card in your deck, it'll just be way, 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 way worse than that and lose you some games other times.
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it.
Yep. Next up we have Planetarium of One Chitong. 6 colorless for a legendary artifact with 1 tap, scry 2. Whenever you scry or surveil, look at the top card of your library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Do this once each turn. Only once each turn. So, 6 mana colorless, do nothing. 1 tap, scry 2. You can cast the top card of your library for free. This was not free. You are usually losing mana off of this. It is an incredibly high tempo cost. However, if you're generating incredibly high amounts of tempo and want just like a card engine to do something, this can be serviceable. It will mean that you will just like draw spells for the rest of the game and cast a bunch of them and eventually get your mana back. That being said, this card's like very, very slow, and I'm not like crazy about it.
Do you want a card that says 6 mana, do nothing, but you win the long game without question? If so, play this card.
Yeah.
If you don't want that, don't play it.
Yeah.
Now, how often do you want that in limited?
Not
I
very-
would probably say it's a very good thing to have access to if you can make your deck do a very particular thing.
Yes.
And you sometimes will be able to make your deck do that. I bet there will be decks in this format that are really good at clogging the ground, that are good at like digging to their 6-drop that they can cast and not be dead when they cast it. And then if you untap with this, yeah, you're like quite likely to win the game.
Yep.
So I probably want to give this a
4? 5?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's like
6?
it's such a build around that it's really hard to give it like a 1 universal grade, but I think I'm pretty happy picking this card up early and trying to build around it, and that's what I'll start on
Yeah, that's
early
what
in the
I'm doing.
format.
Yeah.
So I think like a 5 is probably where I want to land.
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna be first picking it if I like see it in the first pack I open of this format and trying to build around it. But I would guess that like a week in, I would probably only like speculate on it mid-pack if I saw it coming around and had a deck that was sort of shaping up in this direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 6, but like it's the exact same logic.
Hard card to grade.
Yeah.
This one, on the other hand, fun to read, easy to grade. The Walls of Ba Sing Se. 8 colorless for an 0/30 legendary artifact creature wall. It has Defender, of course. I don't think this thing could attack if it tried. And then it says other permanents you control have indestructible.
10.
It's a 10. This says 8 mana, do not instantly win the game.
This is an 8-drop that does not do. How much? Yeah, I don't know how much mana I would spend to play this card. The answer is probably 4.
I mean, I would play this if it cost 5. I think if it cost 5, giving everything else indestructible is very, very good.
Would you play this card if you're like a green deck with a lot of ramp?
Probably not, but it's at least think aboutable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this card costs 6, I think it might actually be quite strong.
Mm-hmm.
But like 8 is just too much, man. I think I want to give this a maybe
9.5?
complimentary 9.5. Yeah. Like, there might be one deck I see in this format that wants to play this card.
Yeah. Alright, next up we have Realm of Co. We're into the lands now. This is a land that taps for black. And this land enters tapped unless you control a basic land.
So in limited, really, this land enters untapped every time almost.
Except for turn 1.
Yes, but I'm saying that that's not very relevant.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
you can
true.
also just always elect to not play it on turn 1.
No, that's true. It's mostly for, like, it won't play you 1-drop of that color on turn
If it's
1.
the only non, like...
It's basically untapped all the time, yeah.
That's what I...
Yeah, no, I got you. And it also has 3 and a black, tap, create a 1/1 color spirit creature token with this token can't block or be blocked except by non-spirit creatures.
That's really nice.
That's like pretty nice. It's 5 mana, make a 1/1 unblockable, essentially. Is not very efficient.
But it just like says I win a board stall.
Yeah, no, to be clear, and like this is true for a lot of these lands, is like it being on a land, I mean it's true for all of these lands. It being on a land means that like your floor is astronomically high. This is taking up a land slot, it's not taking up a spell slot. So
and it's not even really a tapped land.
Yeah.
It's not even a colorless land.
No, yeah, it is really just you're taking a swamp ++ when you're taking this card.
Which is
and like
a high value way to spend a draft pick.
Yeah, to be clear though, it's a high value draft pick. I'm not taking this over bombs.
I agree.
Because it is, while the floor is astronomically high, the ceiling is not that high.
Totally agree.
Like making it 5 mana, making a 1/1 is not a game action I will take every single game, especially because it cannot block.
Yeah, this basically will sit around, not do anything in like 85% of your games. It will give you a really meaningful advantage in the like second to last 10% of your games, up to 95%, and then it will straight up win you 5% of games that almost no other card could win you.
Yep.
Which I think makes it like, and the opportunity cost on that is a single draft pick and basically nothing else.
Yeah.
So I think this card is very, very high value to pick up. I want to give it a 3. Basically, it is really, really good use of a draft pick, but won't win you most games when you have it. It'll just sit there and like win you games opportunistically.
I think I want to give it like a 4. I don't think I'm taking this over like premium removal, which we had about 3.5.
I think I am, but I can see where you're coming from.
Like I think ensuring the structure of my deck is coherent with that level of card and higher, I think is too important for me when I'm drafting to want to take this that highly, because I don't think the effect is quite worth it. But
yeah, we can agree to disagree there. I don't think we'll disagree on the next one.
Oh no, oh my goodness.
Abandoned Air Temple. So this is the white version. It comes in tapped unless you control a basic, so basically just an untapped white land, and it taps for white, and you can pay 3 and a white, tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
This card's so insane.
This card is
I would like to
one of the best limited cards I've ever seen.
I want to give it a 1.
It's a 1. I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not as much as people might think.
This card just takes over games if you have creatures in play, and it is not a non-creature slot. It's a land.
Right. Well, like, it takes over games. The cost is literally nothing. It's completely free to put in your deck.
Yeah.
There will be some games where it doesn't do anything because you're behind, but almost no other card in Magic would have won you those games.
Yeah,
besides like
also,
a Wrath or whatever.
It's
still
specific. You know what helps you when you're behind? A land to cast your spells.
Right. Yeah, this card is nuts.
This card's crazy. I want to give it a 1.
This is, I think, just like a clear 1.
Yeah, you could convince me on 1.5, but actually no, you couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think you could. This is a 1. I would not be surprised if this card has the best game and hand win rate in the set. Not be surprised at all.
I would be surprised, but in terms of that's more a question of how data works, and not a question of how.
Well,
good the card
wait,
is.
why wouldn't you think it does though?
I mean, there's gonna be spots where it's just a basic planes, and that's going to have average win rate for a deck that plays basic planes. And
yeah, but how many games is this just a basic planes in?
I mean,
how many games is the ability not relevant in?
I guess not many. So
right.
I guess what I'm saying is I could see it not being the highest, but I don't think that would change it from being potentially the best card in the set.
Right, and I guess like any card that has any mana cost will have some games where the mana cost isn't castable. Like, I don't know, I feel like that downside applies to basically every single other card.
No, that's fair enough.
So
I mean, to be clear, we agree this card's
little quibble on data for you guys there. But great.
Next up, we have a Bossing Say. This is our green one. It enters tapped with control basic land, taps for green. 2 and a green, tap, or spend 2, activate only as a sorcery. This one's excellent.
Also,
it makes 2
excellent.
This
is almost as good as the white one, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like a step worse, but that's because the white one is kind of broken.
Well,
this one just
think about it this way, right? Like for the white one, you're spending 4 to get 1 power for each creature you control, or you're spending 5 really because you're tapping a land. This one, you're spending 1 fewer mana to get 2 power every time.
But also sorcery speed like somewhat matters.
That does matter for sure.
Like one of the really nice things about like Avenue Township cards, you can like hold up interaction as well.
To be clear, I definitely agree the white one's better, but I think the gap is like not that far.
And this one lets you like build a really tall threat pretty quickly, and it's 1 less cheap mana. No, this card's excellent.
I would say like 1.5 for this.
I would agree. Yeah.
I could even see a 1, but I think
that is literally my exact thoughts.
Yeah. The blue one we have is a lot worse, I would say. It is Agna Kayla. I don't know really how to say that, but it enters tapped unless you control a basic, so it's basically always untapped.
Nice one.
Get it? 2 and a blue, tap, draw a card, then discard a card.
I would say I like this card slightly more than I like the black one.
I strongly disagree. I like the black one a good amount more. I just think making creatures is better than looting.
I don't know if I agree with that for 1/1 creatures that can't block.
Yeah, okay.
Like, if the creatures could block, I would have the black one head, shoulders, knees, and toes above this. But the fact that they can't block means that it's really... The black one isn't really making creatures as much as it's dealing damage.
Sure, but it's dealing, accumulating amounts of damage. Whatever. This is not that important of a disagreement. I think we can just agree to disagree. But, this one's great. You should pick it pretty early. You should put it in your deck every time. The upside is not as much there as it is on the white and black ones. Do we not get a red one?
Well, it'll be later.
Oh, okay. I think
these are not in order.
They're alphabetical or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, this one's good, but I don't think you need to prioritize it that highly. I think I would give it a 5 or a 6.
I would put it at the same grade I'd put the black one at a 4.
Okay. I'm going to go 5. I think it is worse than the black, but we can disagree.
It gets you out of flood late game, which is really nice.
Yeah.
There are games I think where it will be better than the black one, also because it's cheaper.
Yeah, there definitely will be games.
Yeah,
it's better.
I personally think it's better than the black one, but it's marginal.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Jasmine Tea Shop. This is a land that taps for colorless and has tap 1, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast an ally spell or activate the ability of an ally source. Then also has 5 mana tap, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. This card is surprisingly interesting. I feel for
it's like our secluded Starforge of the set a little bit.
Yeah, it's a colorless land that taps for allies, and then if most to all of your creatures are allies, this is casting all your creatures.
Yeah.
Which is not nothing.
Right, it does meaningfully kind of produce colored mana sometimes.
And it could be if you're splashing Katara or something, taps for that.
And then 5 tap, create a token. I think a 1/1 ally is definitely worse than a 2/2 robot, even in the set that robots didn't really do very much, because 2/2 worth of stats is just much better than 1/1 worth of stats. But there will be reasons to want allies, and this will help trigger them and stuff.
I also feel if I am playing this card, it's probably because a 1/1 ally might be better than a 2/2.
I don't even think that. I think it might really get to the same value as a 2/2.
Maybe.
But I don't know.
I
It's
don't
hard
know.
to say.
It's very slow and clunky, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I think this card is like pretty good, and that's a pretty high compliment, I would say, coming from us for like a mostly colorless land.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's by value of there being just so many allies that can actually cast your spells, because most of these cards cast like half or less of your creatures, and that's pretty bad, because colorless lands are pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I want to give this like a 5.
Yeah, I think I want to give it a 6. I'm still like dubious.
I was also considering
But,
6. Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. Next up, Fire Nation Palace. This land enters tapped unless you control the basic, so this is the red one. It taps for red, and it has 1 in red, tap, target creature you control gains Firebending 4 until end of turn. So that is a lot worse than the other ones.
I mean, basically what this is trying to do is be like an Ancient Tomb. Your Firebending 4, your 2-tap Firebending 4 means this land's adding 2 mana, right?
Yeah, you are getting 1 additional mana from using this ability. Which
is, like, lands that go up mana are powerful, but this is a quite restrictive way of doing that.
Right, you need to both have a creature that can attack profitably, have a way to spend all of the mana at instant speed during combat.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, although also a lot of red decks are trying to use the Firebending mechanic already, and so are going to be naturally trying to build in a way that maximizes this.
For sure. Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about this. The downside is obviously quite low, as in, like, there isn't a lot of downside. You just put this in your deck, basically, for free. So I think I'm picking it... Like, it's hard for me to imagine picking this below an average common. It's probably above that, just because the upside is there. I want to give it a 5.
I'll give it a 5.5,
Yeah, something like that. Like... It could just be that you don't end up putting this in the deck, or in a deck, because you don't actually have any ways to take advantage of it. But I expect most red decks will have at least a couple ways to take advantage of it, and it'll be nice when you can.
Yeah. I would agree. Next up we have Secret Tunnel. This is a colorless land. It's a cave, flavorfully. There's nothing really that cares about caves in this set. This land can't be blocked. Tap, add colorless. 4 colorless, tap. 2 target creatures you control that share a creature type can't be blocked this turn. So you need exactly 2 creatures with the same creature type. You can't do it on just 1. And obviously this land can't be blocked as a reference to if you earthbend onto it, you have an unblockable earthbending creature. So does this pass the bar of colorless land for you?
I think this is low-key kind of an incredible build around an earthbending deck. You just keep stacking counters on this and attacking them for unblockable damage.
Yeah.
Like, I cast my 3-drop, Toff or whatever, I put 2 counters on this. Okay. Next turn, I play the Earthbending Lesson. I put 4 counters on it. It's now a 6/6. Alright. Turn 5, I attack you for 6. Turn 6, I attack you for 6. Like, this just can kind of kill them really quickly and sort of undisruptably in many ways, often. Like, obviously they can just point a removal spell at it, right? But if it grows large enough, it's hard to point a removal at. And even if it's small and then they point a removal spell at it, okay, they've answered your land, it comes back. You can just try to put more counters on it.
Yeah.
Like, I think this card is a little bit of a sneaky, cool build around. And I'm pretty excited to try to make it work. And I wasn't expecting to feel this way about the card, but I think this is, like, more of a green card than it is a colorless card in this set, and I think it might actually be pretty nice. Unblockable is a very strong ability, and we have a lot of green cards that just pump stats into lands.
Yes, this is true. Also, the ability of 2 creatures control that share a creature can be blocked this turn. There's a lot of cards with the ally subtype.
There are a lot of allies, and this does get in that last, like, 4 to 6 points of damage.
And, like, if you're, like, trying to, I don't know, convert the 3 mana 2/2 that gets a counter every time you play an ally or something like that into damage, like, this does that.
Yeah.
Like, Rogue's Passage, notable, like, slow, colorless land, but was, like, a way to end games of Limited.
And this, I would say, on balance, is a little bit better than that.
Yes.
You can't activate it if you only control 1 creature or don't control a creature that shares a creature type with another creature.
Which makes it, like,
a way of saying control 2 creatures that share a type. So, like, there are downsides, but I think overall the effect you're getting for the mana you're spending is better, and you're gonna have 2 allies on board somewhat often.
Yeah, where it gets a lot worse is like in green decks with like the 6-mana 7/7. It's gonna be really hard to get that card unblockable with Secret Tunnel. Like those kind of like really big creatures are like your high impact targets for Rogue's Passage.
Yeah. But I think most green decks are just going to have a lot of earthbending, and I think this is a great high upside target for your earthbending.
So like this card having coverage in both those scenarios means like you could probably take it like decently highly.
Yeah, I think this is crazy for a colorless land. You guys know my thoughts on colorless lands, but I think the synergy here is just sort of really strong. I want to give this like a 4. I think I just want to speculatively, at least early in the format, I want to try to pick this up and build an earthbending deck.
I'm gonna click 4.5 because that feels right, but like we'll have to see. The upside's there.
Cool. So this is actually, I think, the last like normal set rare that we had. There are the like bonus sheet cards, but I think I can't really tell. They're intertwined with these like commander cards and stuff.
Oh, like jumpstart cards, yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't really figure out how to disentangle these and just find only the bonus sheet cards. So I think we're just probably going to end the rare review here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bonus sheet, if I find a way to do it, maybe we'll add on like a little video at doing that at the end or something. But yeah, thanks guys for listening. This was a blast, and I am so excited to get to draft this set on early access on Wednesday. This is going to be so fun.
I'm so ready.
Cool. All right. See y'all later.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye.